Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Can my battleship be upgraded? Chapter 71. Sima Zongda sighed quietly. Sima Disao never regarded him as a confidant, which resulted in many deficiencies in intelligence. Beside him, the adjutant assigned by Sima Disao stepped forward and said angrily, "Your Excellency, Commander, Sima Delang retreated before the battle, which is disgraceful. Your Excellency, Sima Disao, is blocking the enemy alone to buy us time. I suggest that this ship should engage in boarding battle with a fearless spirit to destroy the enemy in one fell swoop. Be patient and don't be impatient. We must not make decisions without Your Excellency Sima Disao giving us new orders. We must have faith in Your Excellency's tactical command level." Sima Zongda was almost laughed at by his adjutant. It's not that easy to engage in a boarding battle. At least break the energy-based shield of the opponent's warship first before considering this tactic. The opponent's energy shield is still close to intact. Can you pick it up? In addition, risking your life at this time is the stupid choice that makes Sima De laugh loudly and makes Sima Disao lose his last glimmer of hope. Loyalty alone without brains is of no use. Sima Zongda secretly made up his mind that after this incident, no matter what, he must find a way to escape from Sima Disao's command. The existence of pig teammates is really impossible to bring along. Naturally, Wu Hao's didn't know about the evil spirits inside the Jin family's warship. However, Sima Disao's ship had no choice but to choose to face the enemy alone, which made Wu Hao's overjoyed. Regardless of whether it was due to the opponent's tactical failure or lack of experience, it was good news for the caravan. Originally, only Sima Delang's battleship rushed forward, while Sima Disao's ship retreated temporarily. After the energy shield was restored, another hero emerged. The assault fleet on the caravan side did not have the protection of an energy shield, so every shot it received was a real damage. When a fire warship versus an assault ship, it's like a father beating his son. The advantage is too obvious. But the Jin family fleet's cunning operation was to let a fire warship with more than half of its energy shield depleted go alone to attack the 6 assault ships that were in good condition and moving forward in formation. This can only be said to be courageous. Courage is not a complimentary word used here. It means that there is nothing worthy of praise except courage. The 6 assault ships on the caravan side formed a standard front array. When Sima Disao's ship accelerated forward, the arrow array also slightly corrected its course and pounced on it tit for tat. What is an assault ship? On the battlefield, attack suddenly. If Sima Disao was brave, then what the caravan's assault fleet showed at this moment was ferocious. 6 against 1. Still half disabled, with hopes of changing the situation of the battle. Wu Hao's has already promised huge benefits in the communication channel. Then think about what will happen to your family members in the earldom in the future if the escort mission fails. All assault captains, without exception, go all out. 15 minutes later, a fire warship and a front formation of 6 assault ships collided hard. Both sides opened fire when they were close to a distance that could guarantee a 100% hit rate. Almost passing by, Sima De piloted the ship and turned on the blue-quality thunder booster device again. With just one shot of the main gun, the entire bow of an oncoming assault ship was smashed into pieces. It lost its combat effectiveness and was on the verge of sinking. On the other side, the shelling from the 6 assault ships also landed solidly on Sima De's command ship. The half-broken energy shield fluctuated sharply again, and its durability dropped significantly. 21%. Sima Disao cursed angrily. He did not expect that a mere escort warship of a caravan could have such a tenacious will to fight. In this kind of death confrontation, it could hold back until the last moment before opening fire. Instead of hurriedly firing from a distance and then spreading out to avoid his attack, as he had expected before. After all, the explosive firepower of Sima De's ship has been fully demonstrated in previous battles. Although the main gun sank one assault ship with one shot, the secondary gun also caused minor damage to 2 other assault ships at the same time, possibly losing more than 20% of the durability of the shield. This was completely beyond his expectation. Unexpected. But the arrow is on the string and must be fired. Sima Disao had an accident not long ago and offended a certain senior member of the family. He finally found a way through the channels and urgently needed to obtain high-quality ship-based modules to gain the other party's understanding. This was also the reason for accepting the mission to hunt down Yuan Shu and the Tomahawk. Otherwise, who would have the patience to go to a foreign country and take it with them in the Plantagenet Federation? If this mission fails and fails to obtain high-quality ship-based modules, the consequences will be disastrous. Wu Haozi's caravan is the last life-saving straw for Sima Disao, and he will never give up. Even if Sima Delang had exposed his ferocious fangs, Sima Disao could not take a step back. In any case, Sima Delang couldn't attack him directly. At most, he would just delay. In other words, as long as he is strong enough and has the ability to defeat the caravan's escort fleet, he can still successfully save the situation. Gritting his teeth fiercely, Sima Disao did not retreat at all. After hedging the command ship, he immediately pulled up again and charged towards the remaining 5 assault ships, brazenly killing them. He will use his unstoppable momentum to completely defeat the fighting spirit of the caravan assault fleet. On the caravan side, the remaining 5 assault ships, under the command of Wu Haozi's series of encouragements and their respective captains, also charged forward without showing any signs of weakness. 644. Second round of frontal chisel. The second assault ship on the caravan side was sunk by Sima Disao with 1 shot, and the 2 assault ships were hit by secondary guns and suffered moderate damage. Sima De is piloting the ship, and the energy shield remains at 6%. The red warning flashing on the virtual screen in front of me indicates that the energy shield is about to be overloaded. Sima Disao was overjoyed. In the confrontation just now, the formation of the caravan's assault fleet was not as neat as the first time, and the distance of the bombardment was not as close as the first time. As a result, an assault ship that was behind did not hit Sima Disao's ship, otherwise the loss of his 3.6 energy shield would be more than that. Sima Disao doesn't care about a few percentage points of shield durability. He was pleased that compared to the first hedging, the fighting spirit of the caravan's assault ship had obviously been hit and dropped a lot. Indeed, if a gun hits an assault ship, it will be sunk. However, one's own attacks can only consume the durability of the energy shield. A decline in morale is inevitable. Sima Disao's morale soared and he commanded the ship to maneuver again, preparing for the third hedging. Wu Haozi was sweating profusely, and on the communication channel, Xiaoji moved him emotionally, reasoned, and threatened him. 705. The third hedge. Caravan side, the third assault ship sank. An assault ship was severely damaged and lost its combat effectiveness. 2 assault ships remain. Sima Disao, the ship's energy shield was overloaded and the bow armor was lightly damaged. It's just a caravan, the fire warship is quite durable, but the assault ship is like a target, useless. Sima Disao laughed loudly, his face flushed. Facts have proved that he won the bet. Even if the energy shield is overloaded, it will take 12 hours to complete the overload buffering process and reactivate it. But outside his ship, there is also a layer of solid armor protection. As for the opponent's only 2 remaining assault ships, one of which was moderately damaged, there was no way they could be his opponents. Although the last remaining fire warship on the caravan side was still pestering Sima Delang's ship, it was no longer a threat. After all, Sima Disao won this round. 712. An hour after the battle started, the caravan side sank 1 reconnaissance ship, 1 fire battleship, and 4 assault ships. The remaining fleet consists of 1 LV.10 fire warship, 3 reconnaissance ships, 2 assault ships, and 8 large transport spaceships. No one in the Jin family fleet was damaged in battle, and there was 1 LV.11 fire warship, 1 LV.12 fire warship, and 1 assault ship remaining. The Jin family fleet has the upper hand. Sima Disao's achievements attracted everyone's attention on the battlefield. Captain's pavilion is mighty. On Sima Disao's ship, there were cheers and the crew members jumped for joy. This mad dog. Sima Delang was greatly surprised and murmured in confusion. This kind of victory seems to be the result of a combination of bravery and luck. Sima Zongda ignored the cheers of the adjutants around him and thought in his mind. It seems that after turning on the thunder booster device, the firepower of the main gun was just enough to cause armor-breaking suppression on the caravan's assault ship, achieving the effect of sinking it with 1 hit. This crushing strike effect is the biggest factor causing the sharp decline in morale of the assault fleet. Otherwise, if it cannot be sunk with 1 shot, Sima Disao will fall into a bitter battle. Quote. He quickly analyzed the reasons why Sima Disao had the upper hand. The 3-shot critical hit effect brought by the Thunder Booster device made Sima Disao powerful. Even after 3 hedgings, the amplification effect has disappeared, but the morale of the caravan has long been lost, and the only 2 assault ships left are unable to recover. This is impossible. Wu Hao's was devastated. The assault fleet was actually crushed by the opponent, which made his heart sink as if falling into an abyss. Wu Hao's is an ambitious and capable middle-aged man. Relying on the strong anti-strike capabilities of the 2 fire warships, he consciously reduced the armor of the assault fleet and increased their speed. This adjustment allowed his caravan to easily defend itself with the 2 fire warships as the backbone when encountering the Star Thieves. When the Star Thief group was defeated, they often took advantage of the speed of the assault ship to conduct appropriate pursuits and obtain additional results. After several visits, I gained a lot. As the person in charge of the caravan, Wu Hao's could get a large share of this kind of loot. Therefore, the assault fleet of his caravan is an ordinary assault ship with low defense capabilities. This difference does not matter when facing the Star Thieves. But in front of the Jin family fleet, especially in front of Sima Disao's thunder supercharging device, it was restrained. Tasting the evil fruits he had sown, Wu Hao's mouth was filled with bitterness. However, fate did not completely abandon him. He hasn't lost yet. In the name of the person in charge of the 4th caravan of Tianfang Earldom, I solemnly promise to you. As long as you can help the caravan overcome this difficulty this time, in the future, when the caravan trades on the mining planet, it will pay 10% of the net profit and hand it over to you for distribution. Through the previously dispatched reconnaissance ship, he successfully contacted the fleet of local forces in the mining star region not far behind him. That is a total of 6 assault ships and 2 reconnaissance ships, which is not a weak combat force. In particular, the 6 assault ships were not the crispy ones in Emperor Guo Hao's team. Since there is still room to move around, it is far from a desperate situation for Wu Hao's. Captain Wu, our Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce needs to perform an important task this time and cannot participate in the war at will. Please understand. Captain Wu, as long as you promise to give us Tianyu Caravan 10% of the profits, we will join the battle immediately. We at the Kingfisher Club never take the initiative to intervene in any disputes, and we regret that we cannot provide help. Wu Hao was not surprised by the pushback from the 3 forces. This was not the first time he had dealt with them. He knew what these local forces were like. I have dispatched a reconnaissance ship to leave the battlefield and report the battlefield situation to third parties. If the caravan is defeated, then as those of you who were present but did nothing to save it, you will bear the same level of accountability as our Tianfang Earldom. On the contrary, if you can lend a helping hand in time, you will gain our friendship afterwards. Where to go, please decide immediately. Wu Hao's threat was quite weighty. For the entire Blackstone barony, the Tianfang Earldom is a behemoth, not to mention a few small planet-level local forces. Several local forces who wanted to see if there were any bargains to be found secretly cursed why Wu Hao's was not on the sunk fire battleship. A few minutes later, another communication became an important weight that turned the situation in another direction. After receiving the distress message from the Tianfang Earldom's caravan, the mining area adhered to the spirit of the limited mutual assistance principle among nobles and sent a patrol fleet for reinforcements. At the same time, 3 nearby local forces were also asked to rescue the caravan. 3 local forces, including the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce, all work in the mining area to earn a living and have to listen to the manager's requests. Coupled with Wu Hao's decisive threats and inducements, he had to bite the bullet and join the war. At 7:35, the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce and other 3 local forces, a mixed fleet of 6 assault ships and 2 reconnaissance ships, joined the battlefield. Wang Dong's pond followed closely behind, approaching the battlefield in a concealed state. At the same time, Sima Disao's ship once again sank a heavily damaged assault ship on the caravan side. Although he lost the protection of the energy shield and the thunder booster device had entered a buffering state, Sima Disao was still as powerful as a rainbow. His ship cleverly deflected the caravan's assault ship's attempt to enter the boarding battle, and used the concentrated fire of its 4 secondary guns to break through the opponent's already damaged armor and penetrate it. The only remaining assault ship no longer dared to step forward to fight head-on, but instead resorted to guerrilla warfare in order to contain it. However, Wu Haozi's fire battleship was fighting against Sima Delang's battleship. The continuous damage caused by the main gun of Sima Delang's ship can only be regarded as scabies itch for Wu Haozi's ship. And Sima Delang himself had no intention of contributing. Apart from harassing him with one shot, he maintained a sufficient safe distance. The fire warship of the caravan originally focused on anti-strike capabilities, and its bombardment had a low hit rate for the Sima Delang ship, which had no intention of fighting. Even though Wu Haozi could clearly see Sima Delang's paddling, he did not dare to give up controlling Sima Delang. If we cannot take advantage of the overloaded energy shield of Sima De's ship and severely damage it, once his energy shield passes the buffer and is reactivated, the caravan will really have no chance of winning. Seeing that 6 more assault ships had joined the battle, the 2 reconnaissance ships, Sima Disao, were completely ignored. It seemed that several small forces that had followed the caravan had the courage to come to rescue the caravan. Sima Disao was not afraid, but smiled ferociously, abandoned the remaining hiding assault ship of the caravan, turned around, and charged straight up. Compared with the caravan's assault fleet, it can at least maintain the basic formation. The 6 assault ships that joined the battle later were clearly divided into 3 small groups. The distance between them was not close to each other. It was obvious at a glance that they were just a ragtag group. Sima Disao understood that as long as he could sink 2 or 3 of the warships with lightning speed, the rest would definitely escape. At 7:47, the 2 sides formed a hedging trend. The only remaining assault ship in the caravan lagged behind Sima Disao's ship in speed, and could only catch up behind it. At first glance, it seemed that they were forming a pincer attack with 6 assault ships from 3 local forces including the Kongshark Chamber of Commerce. In fact, it is of no use at all. On Sima De's ship, the Thunder Booster device was buffered and unleashed its power again. After 3 minutes, the hedging is completed. Sima Disao's main gun hit an assault ship belonging to the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce, severely damaging the bow of the ship. But he failed to sink the opponent. There is no problem with Sima Zongda's judgment. The explosive firepower of Sima De's ship was indeed just enough to suppress the crispy assault ships of Wu Haozi's caravan. However, when faced with the unmodified ordinary assault ship of the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce, which was still armored with normal specifications, it failed to achieve the crushing effect of sinking it in one hit. This is critical. Although the bow of the ship was severely damaged, the assault ship of the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce did not lose its combat capability. In the staggered confrontation, Sima Disao's ship was hit by 4 shells. The 3 local forces including the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce are indeed a mob. They were divided into 3 obvious small groups, with no coordinated formations and low fighting will. But everything has 2 sides. Sima Disao targeted the direction of the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce during the hedging. The 2 assault ships could not resist the pressure and opened fire early before pulling away. Not only did it fail to hit Sima Disao's ship, it was also hit on the head by Sima Disao. But Tianyu Caravan and Kingfisher Guildhall were not affected. On the contrary, AEAF, because he knew that the other party's target was not him, he seemed even more calm. The 4 assault ships all fired at close range and successfully hit the target. The bow armor is moderately damaged, the stern armor is moderately damaged, and the middle armor is slightly damaged. Armor module damage, 44%. Alerts from the damage management team came in like a snowflake. Sima Disao was restless. If it fails to produce a crushing effect, the deterrent effect on the enemy will be much worse. Your Excellency, Captain, the new assault ship has good combat capabilities, but this ship is in poor condition. Please tell me whether to execute the strategic transition first and wait for the energy shield to be activated again. The adjutant spoke solemnly. Sima Disao understood what the adjutant meant. I also know that this is the most appropriate choice at the moment. However, he understood better that Sima Delang was clearly paddling, and once he retreated, Sima Delang would definitely retreat as well. Then this attack is equivalent to bankruptcy. His last hope will also be shattered. To be honest, Wang Dong was a little surprised by the situation on the battlefield in front of him. The ships of Sima Delang and Wu Haozi were far apart. You shot me and I shot each other. They seemed to be paddling towards each other. Sima Disao stood aside and faced 7 assault ships alone. The energy shield was obviously overloaded and the ship's armor was damaged in many places. Sima Zongda's assault ship was also seriously damaged, and he also worked hard to deal damage to Wu Haozi's ship. If people hadn't focused on him, he would have been in danger long ago. Wang Dong had already expected the infighting between the Jin family. This is based on the information he collected before his rebirth. Therefore, in the beginning, when he released the news and dragged Wu Haozi's caravan into trouble, what he was doing was actually just triggering an internal fight between the two Jin family members and weakening their purpose. As for Wu Haozi's caravan, it was a secondary target, just an external cause of internal strife. The two Sima brothers of the Jin family are Wang Dong's main targets. After all, the effects of the Yuan family's secret medicine are still lurking in him. No matter what the outcome of the internal fight between the two Sima brothers, one side will always overwhelm the other. Especially internal fighting on the battlefield is affected by external factors, and it is normal for it to be life or death serious. Wang Dong can all benefit from it. But what he didn't expect was that the gap between the two was too obvious. Sima Disao fought bloody battles and was scarred, but Sima Delang could leisurely paddle aside without any injuries. This one-sided situation gave Wang Dong a strange sense of déjà vu. Sima De, your level of internal fighting is so poor, how can you get along in the Jin family? Before Wang Dong was reborn, he directly killed Sima Disao, so he did not pay much attention to the subsequent collection of information about him. Naturally, he didn't know that Sima Disao's current situation was that he would die if he didn't advance. So much so that he was held tightly by Sima Delang and had to fight bloody battles. 2 more dashes back and forth. On the ship, Sima Disao gritted his teeth and weighed it again and again, but still withstood the pressure and gave the order resolutely. Consume all source points and perform emergency repairs on the armor module. The decisive decision made the adjutant beside him swallow his objections and implement the instructions instead. Consume the remaining 103 units of source points and start emergency maintenance of the armor module. The priorities are as follows: the stern, the bow, and the middle of the ship. Seeing the precious source points being wasted on such extravagant emergency repairs, not only the captain Sima Disao, but also the various crew members felt heartbroken. The source point of just over 100 units was the result of a year of hard work wandering in the void zone of the universe. I planned to save some more and use them to strengthen the main gun level, but I didn't want to waste it here. Sima Disao's decision, wasteful or not, was undoubtedly decisive. One man works hard, but 10,000 men cannot do anything. This sentence is exaggerated, but it is very appropriate on the current battlefield. Under the consumption of source points, the armor that was quickly repaired put heavy pressure on Sima Disao's opponents. After another 2 hedging rounds, 2 more assault ships from the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce and the Kingfisher Guild were severely damaged and then withdrew from the battlefield. The enemy in front of Sima Disao only had 4 assault ships. The armor damage of his ship only increased to 58%. The effect of the source point is immediate. The decision to fight desperately, coupled with the armor that seemed to be constantly regenerating, and the retreat of comrades, left this mixed fleet composed of 3 local forces with no morale. Wang Dong sees it very clearly, and there are some small thoughts to be added to this. 2 assault ships of the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce were severely damaged, and 1 assault ship of the Kingfisher Guild was severely damaged. On the contrary, the 2 assault ships of the Tianyu caravan were only slightly damaged. The Tianyu caravan could not fail to see that the main force of the 2 hostile forces had suffered heavy losses, and the vacuum period in the next period would be their best opportunity. So, the next progress is normal. The Tianyu caravan retreated first, and the Kingfisher Guild followed closely and left the battlefield. Only the fragile assault ship, the only surviving caravan escort fleet, faced the imposing Sima Disao alone. Without the last hedging, the remaining assault ship lost its fighting spirit and turned around. It was easily pursued by Sima Disao and sunk directly after several rounds of shelling. The situation is settled. At 8:21, there was only 1 fire warship and 3 reconnaissance ships left in the caravan's escort fleet. The remaining 3 assault ships and 2 reconnaissance ships from the 3 local forces including the Sky Shark caravan, after abandoning the 3 severely damaged assault ships and emergency storage of the escape cabins, exited the battlefield without looking back and fled in a hurry towards the mining star area. And back. A mad dog is indeed a mad dog. He only has the wrong name, not the wrong nickname. Sima Delang's face was no longer gloomy, but his tone became colder. Your Excellency Desao's bravery is nowhere compared to Your Excellency the Captain's strategic planning. This ship effortlessly achieves victory at your fingertips. It can be said to be a model of war without bloodshed. The adjutant beside him smiled. HMPH, hey, the mad dog has been driven into the alley. The dog is jumping over the wall to get the fattest piece of meat. I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Sima Delang sneered. The order is sent, our ship will take on the heavy responsibility and go to pursue the fleeing enemy. As for the easy job of cleaning the battlefield, I will leave it to the friendly ships. It is possible to win a complete victory with a small number of enemies, but now the numerical advantage is 2-1. It must be even easier for Brother 13. Quote. The adjutant chuckled knowingly and issued a series of instructions. I saw Sima Delang's ship, which had been keeping a considerable distance from the enemy ship, suddenly increased its thrust, quickly pulled away along the curved track, and easily broke away from the fight with Wu Haozi's ship. Sima Zongda's scarred assault ship was left alone to Wu Haozi's ship. The assault ship with a hull length of just over 100 meters looked particularly weak and pitiful against the fire warship, which was more than 300 meters long. Looking at his heading, it turned out to be a transport fleet that was increasing its power and escaping towards the mining area Star Field. Despicable villain. Sima Delang's blatant behavior of avoiding war, fighting for spoils of war, and betraying friendly forces made Sima Desao jealous. Even Wang Dong, who was hiding aside and borderline sighed. If you are so unscrupulous and don't say a word of submission, you are simply driving Sima Desao to death. Sima Delang's move made Wu Hao's overjoyed. In this battle, his caravan side was indeed defeated. If other goods were lost, they would be lost, but the most important goods, the purple quality shipborne module with the highest value, were still on his ship. If this shipborne module can be safely brought back to the Tianfang earldom, no matter how severe the punishment is, there will be no danger of life and there will be a chance for a comeback. At this moment, Wu Hao's changed course and was about to leave the battlefield. He even turned a blind eye to the assault ship that was always hovering around him, as annoying as a fly. Sima Delang, I'm going to Yuzu Ying. Sima Desao let out a heartbreaking roar. However, they had to drag the battered hull and forcefully catch up with Wu Haozi's ship. The intelligence obtained by Sima Zongda on the mining planet showed that the caravan's transport fleet was carrying general cargo. The high-quality shipborne module he was bound to obtain was carried by Wu Haozi's ship. If Wu Hao's is allowed to escape, all his previous efforts will be in vain. Next, Wang Dong enjoyed the most brutal fighting battle. Wu Hao's, who was entangled by Sima Desao, had to get rid of the piece of brown sugar first. Otherwise, if the speed is not dominant, a blind escape will only delay the time of death. On the contrary, if you can take advantage of the seemingly discord within the enemy, if you can sink a fire warship first, you may still have hope of escaping. At the worst, the patrol fleet in the mining area Star Field is on the way to be reinforced. By then, there will be a turn for the better. Wu Hao's, who had made up his mind, turned around and exchanged fierce fire with Sima Desao. Sima Desao also did not dare to delay. This kind of attack war inherently emphasizes speed and efficiency. The longer the delay, the more likely it is to attract other factors. He was now at the end of his strength, and Sima Delang was completely unreliable, so he could only muster up his courage and fight again. More than 20 minutes later, with the desperate assistance of Sima Zongda's assault ship, Sima Desao suffered tragic injuries and broke through the resistance of Wu Haozi's ship and sunk it. The cost was that the assault ship where Sima Zongda was located was severely damaged and the level of Jinping was reduced. Sima Desao's ship was severely damaged, with 86% armor damage, engine damage, and 60% loss of thrust. On the ship, the cheers of the crew members, who fought bloody battles, became weak after confirming the final victory. The long-term high-intensity battle exhausted everyone's physical strength and energy. As soon as they relax, many people immediately feel that their eyes are darkening, their energy is deficient, and their chest is tight. Sima Desao also let out a sigh of relief. Although the price was heavy, he was able to survive the disaster in the end. Moreover, this time he was almost alone in taking the lead. He was outnumbered several times and fought his way out of an almost impossible battle. It not only tempered the fighting will and fighting skills of the entire battleship, but also all the crew members. It also made Sima Disao feel that his spiritual will had been baptized. Having been stuck in the bottleneck for a long time in the practice of physical training, Yi Ping also had signs of a breakthrough. If you can break through the level of physical training at the primary stage of perfection to the intermediate stage, it means embarking on the path of transcending mortals. By then, Sima Disao's status in the family will be significantly improved. Sima Delang, bah, we'll see. Narrowing his eyes slightly, Sima Disao made a promise in his heart that what he received today will be returned twice as much in the future. Whether it is Sima Delang or the one in the family. Brother 13 is mighty and majestic, and I admire you greatly. Brother 13, please hurry aside and take a rest. I will take care of all the chores. A strange voice came from the communication channel, causing Sima Disao, who was immersed in his own world, to tremble with his spiritual sword. Sima Delang, what do you want to do? Looking at Sima Delang's ship approaching unknowingly, an ominous premonition came to his heart, and Sima Disao shouted angrily. Of course I'm cleaning the battlefield and doing some chores. Brother 13, don't worry, your share of the spoils will definitely be given to you with both hands. Quote. Sima Delang said with a proud smile. Your Excellency, Captain, they are docking with the wreckage of the Caravan Fire warship. They want to rob us of our spoils. The adjutant shouted in disbelief. Whoever sinks the battleship alone will naturally be the trophy. These are the rules on the battlefield. Sima Delang had paddled across the sky in the battle just now, but now he was shamelessly snatching the most abundant spoils on the battlefield. This kind of character and this kind of performance simply set a new limit for everyone. Sima Disao was so angry that he almost vomited blood on the spot. The ghost, Kiju-san, believes in offering the spoils of war with both hands. You swallowed something in Sima Delang's stomach and you still want to take it back. Besides, if people give you a pile of rubbish afterwards and tell you that this is all the loot, do you believe it? What if you don't believe it? The most important thing is that all of Sima Disao's hopes are pinned on that high-quality ship-borne module. Sima Delang's move is simply murderous and murderous. Sima Delang, I'm so proud. Seeing Sima Delang's ship, with its almost intact energy shield, swaggeringly docked next to the wreckage of Wu Haozi's ship, the tractor beam cooperated with the automatic robot to continuously collect various trophies. Both Sima Disao and others were speechless for a moment. It's really shameless and unscrupulous. Wang Dong clutched his chest and felt sad for Sima Disao. Sima Delang is such a villain, with no bottom line at all. Before his rebirth, Wang Dong suffered a lot from him. Seeing him pitifully pitting poor Sima Disao, Wang Dong felt sad. Although Sima Disao's ship had suffered heavy damage, Wang Dong still had no idea of stepping forward for a sneak attack. Sima Delang's condition is almost intact. As for Wang Dong's pond number, once he reveals his body, he will die. But Wang Dong is not in a hurry. His plan has been considered a success. After completely losing all traces of Yuan Shu and the tomahawk, several members of the Jin family were in a dilemma. At this time, Wang Dong revealed the news that Wu Haozi's caravan had a high-quality ship-based module purchased at a high price. Undoubtedly, it succeeded in getting the Jin family's attention to focus on the caravan. Since there is no trace of Yuan Shu and the tomahawk, the suspected Wu Hao's caravan becomes the #1 target. No matter whether the high-quality ship-borne modules in the caravan were really purchased at a high price, or they were obtained from the wreckage of the tomahawk. In fact, it doesn't matter. Being able to obtain high-quality ship-based modules can achieve their goals in disguise. This is an acceptable result for both Sima Disao and Sima Delang. The conflict between the Jin family fleet and Wu Haozi's caravan actually happened as Wang Dong judged. Although the result surprised Wang Dong, Wu Haozi's caravan was almost completely wiped out. Moreover, between the two brothers of the Jin family, Sima Delang seemed to have the upper hand, forming an overwhelming situation. But Sima Disao was indeed weakened to the lowest point. That's enough. Wang Dong didn't expect to catch them all in one fell swoop. That was a small probability event. What he is most afraid of is that after the battle between the Jin family fleet and Wu Haozi's caravan, they are evenly matched and both sides break off the battle after realizing that they can't get any benefits. Although the Jin family has always had a style of doing things right, this is also a small probability event. After cleaning the battlefield, Wang Dong did not believe that Sima Delang, who was about to grab the biggest profit, would be kind enough to wait for Sima Disao to return to the Plantagenet Federation together. At that time, the abandoned Sima Disao was like a piece of fat placed in front of Wang Dong. What he needs to do is to hibernate quietly with the pond, trailing behind Sima Disao, waiting for the opportunity to come, and deliver a fatal blow in an uninhabited corner. Wang Dong's abacus was pounding loudly, just thinking about Sima Delang's movements to quickly get the loot and get out. Although he was very interested in the ship-based module escorted by Wu Haozi's caravan, stable development obviously took precedence over everything else, and Wang Dong would not take any more risks. Anyway, sooner or later, we will have to face the Jin family, so we just treat it as temporarily in the hands of Sima Delang. Sima Delang thought so too. His movements were quick, and he looked very skilled at quickly searching for loot. At the same time, he also said goodbye to Sima Disao in a rare and cheerful tone. Brother 13, I will set off first and clear the way ahead. Please be sure to follow us, from our family. Sima Disao was so excited that he flew into a rage. But he didn't dare to use his broken body to attack his superior Ma Delang's intact ship. Seeing that Sima Delang was about to succeed, the situation suddenly took a turn for the worse. If you fall short of the mark, there's nothing you can do about it. Sima Zongda sighed. The adjutant standing next to him had his fists clenched and his face was ferocious. Your Excellency, Commander, with your wisdom, don't you see any hope of breaking the situation? Sima Zongda shook his head slightly and sighed. Your Excellency, Sima Delang's bottom line is beyond everyone's imagination. Unless his combat power is destroyed, we can't even think about getting back the spoils we deserve. But the key point is that even if we violate the first motto of the Jin family and fight against each other, our two warships combined are no match for His Excellency Sima Delang's ship. Quote, even with the bravery of Our Excellency Sima Disao, can't he be defeated by Sima Delang in a frontal battle? The adjutant's words showed no respect for Sima Delang. Sima Zongda could understand the resentment in the adjutant's heart. Not to mention that as Sima De's confidant, even Sima Zongda himself found it really disgusting. The Jin family's family tradition is ruthless, but not to the level of Sima Delang. Due to his birth, Sima Delang's status in the family was much higher than that of Sima Disao. You are also a battle-hardened veteran, and you should know that whether there is an energy shield or not is the difference between heaven and earth for the Fire 3.2 battleship. Even if His Excellency Sima Disao is brave and takes full advantage of the explosive power of the ship, when he launches a hedging, he will not be able to fight back when facing Sima Delang with his shield intact. As for swimming, when the engine is damaged and the thrust is reduced, it is no different than seeking death. Unless we can launch a successful surprise attack, destroy the opponent's energy shield in one go, cause enough damage to its engine, and also reduce the thrust to a certain level, we have no chance of winning. Quote, Sima Zongda said regretfully, maybe we don't have any chance. The adjutant's eyes flickered and he murmured in a low voice. What? Sima Zongda didn't hear clearly and asked casually. Nothing. The adjutant looked up and smiled brightly. Sima Zongda subconsciously felt that something was not good. When he thought of something, his expression suddenly changed. The first motto of the Jin family is that law enforcement is strict. Don't be impulsive. Your Excellency Sima Disao cannot bear this responsibility. Of course Your Excellency Sima Disao does not need to bear this responsibility. It was you, Commander, who did it. The adjutant sneered and waved, and two armed robots behind him stepped forward and controlled Sima Zongda. You are asking for your own death. Even if you push me out, you still can't bear this responsibility. Sima Zongda did not struggle needlessly, but still tried to use words to awaken the other party's reason. Your Excellency Disao has shown kindness to us many times, and now is the time to repay the favor. The adjutant's face was distorted by the overly excited expression. The next moment, a series of instructions were issued, and then more than a dozen armed robots originally used for boarding battles rushed to the command module. Under the threat of force, the adjutant's will was carried out. Just when Sima Disao was complacent, the dying assault ship where Sima Zongda was, which had been ignored by everyone, suddenly launched a missile at the Sima Delang ship that was very close at hand. Shockingly, create a great Sidewinder energy field neutralizing bomb in the first wave of raids. Warning, warning, close range missile attack. Evade, quickly evade. Not fast enough to avoid. Secondary artillery, quickly form an interception net. No, it's too late, the distance is too close. After just a few seconds of panic, the Sidewinder energy field neutralizing projectile fired at high speed had already crashed into the energy shield of Sima Delang's ship. Spots shine. The nearly intact energy shield caused a large shock under the bombardment of the Sidewinder energy field neutralizing projectile. It seemed like a pair of invisible hands were tearing it apart and deforming it. A few moments later, the energy shield on the outside of Sima Delang's ship suddenly dimmed after shining for the last time. Warning, shield overload, buffer countdown 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. The prompt tone of the shipboard optical brain is so cruel that it is unacceptable. How dare they? Sima Delang's eyes widened in shock, and he was speechless for a while. In the Jin family's motto, the first one is not to fight with people in the same room. This is why he kept on edge until he gained an absolute advantage, but still did not attack Simada. Once exposed, he will definitely be severely punished by the family. Even direct descendants may be deprived of their status, not to mention mere concubines from side branches. Sima Delang never thought that in his impression, Sima Zongda, who was just reluctantly obeying Sima Disao's orders, would actually pay such a high price for Sima Disao. Did I misjudge the person? Sima Zongda is actually the most loyal person in the world. Or does Sima Disao really have such a unique set of secrets for winning over his subordinates? For a moment, the shock in Sima Delang's heart even overwhelmed the panic of being suddenly attacked. Compared to the fire warships of the caravan, which valued anti-strike capabilities, Sima Delang's ship was not that durable. A frontal hit from a Sidewinder energy field neutralizing bullet directly overloaded the shield. The sudden attack is far from over. While launching the missile, the assault ship where Sima Zongda was located went crazy, using the engine overclocking method to accelerate to a certain extent in a very short period of time, and viciously crashed into Sima Delang's ship. Before the two ships collided, all the firepower on the assault ship was aimed at the stern of Sima Delang's ship, firing at full speed. Fight back and sink them. The shock caused by the attack on the ship made Sima Delang wake up from his miscarriage. Angry, he immediately issued a counterattack order. In order to connect with the wreckage of Wu Haozi's ship to search for loot, Sima Delang's ship was at a relatively stationary and low speed. In a short period of time, it cannot accelerate enough to maneuver for evasion. At the same time, the direction chosen by the assault ship was towards the stern of the Sima Delang ship, far away from the firing range of its main gun. For a moment, Sima Delang's ship could only rely on its 4 secondary guns to fire at the approaching assault ship in an attempt to stop it. With just 4 secondary guns, although the front of the assault ship was shot like a honeycomb, it was unable to stop the assault ship carrying powerful kinetic energy from viciously hitting the rear of Smadalang's ship. It was all thanks to the helmsman's bald head at the end, overclocking and starting the 4 auxiliary azimuth adjustment engines at all costs, that he could barely move the warship slightly. Only then did the impact point change from facing the engine jet nozzle at the stern of the ship to facing the side jet nozzle. A huge boom, visible to the naked eye. At the point of collision between the two ships, the hull began to twist and deform due to force, and a large number of small pieces of the hull and parts were scattered in all directions. The entire stern of Sima Delang's ship was severely damaged. More importantly, the engine injection port undergoes substantial deformation. This will seriously affect the thrust output of the engine. The assault ship, which is much smaller than the fire battleship, suffered more serious damage during the impact. The hull of the ship, which had already been severely damaged in the previous battle, simply broke apart as a result of the collision. Sacrifice one blow, so cruel. Wang Dong, who was far away, looked dumbfounded. Sima Zongda's performance was completely different from his previous impression. Careful thinking, calmness and restraint are his hallmarks. Instead of the generous and heroic hot-blooded man he is now. Is the butterfly effect so obvious? Then will the information in my mind be completely unusable in the future? This contrast even made him start to doubt himself. Even the biggest beneficiary, Sima Disao, couldn't react for a long time. Zongda, I am sorry for you. You can go in peace, I will take good care of your sister. As long as I am here, I will never let her be wronged. The tragic scene in front of him made Sima Disao unable to help but cry. Move to the stern area of the enemy ship and keep following the maneuver. Get me through Sima Delang's communication. I want to reason with him. After 3 seconds of silence, Sima Disao's eyes rekindled with a blazing light of hope. The engine thrust of Sima Delang's ship was even more severely damaged than that of his ship. Moreover, the emergency evasion just now caused the 4-azimuth adjustment engine on Sima Delang's ship to be overclocked and overloaded, causing direct damage and performance degradation. In terms of mobility, Sima Disao had the advantage. Coupled with the fact that the opponent's energy shield has been overloaded, Tongma Disao seems to be invincible. Just like the overwhelming advantage that Sima Delang had just now. The speed at which things change is really touching. Xiao Shiliu, the overall situation has been decided. If you are sensible, please hand over the trophies that belong to me. Brother 13 promises not to beat you to death. Facing the proud Sima Disao, Sima Delang's expression changed rapidly. The originally sinister expression that was always half-smiling turned into a peaceful smile in the blink of an eye. Paired with that pretty face, he was quite handsome not to mention. Brother 13, look at what you said, I am just a handyman, following behind Brother 13, waving flags and shouting, and doing some small things. In fact, Xiaolu and I packed these trophies first to save Brother 13 some time. I'll give it to you right away, please put it away. Sima Delang bowed his head and gave in, which greatly relieved the depression in Sima Disao's heart. Although Sima Zongda sacrificed himself and caused heavy damage to Sima Delang's ship, the situation returned to its normal state. But Sima Disao knew it very well. It was impossible for him to act decisively against Sima Delang like Sima Zongda did. Not all the members on the ship are his confidants, and even if they are, they cannot always keep secrets. Once he really takes action personally and sinks Sima Delang's ship, he will definitely not get any good results after returning to the Jin family. The previous actions can be regarded as Sima Zongda's own initiative and had nothing to do with Sima De. Ma Dewei would not dare to go further. Of course, this does not mean that if Sima Delang carries on to the end, then Sima Disao, who is desperate, will not choose to make a desperate move. Sima Delang also understood this, so he simply gave in. The two reached a consensus. Then, a lifeboat slowly floated out, carrying the loot that Sima Delang had searched. While maintaining vigilance, Sima Disao sent people to board the ship to search carefully before using a magnetic tractor beam to bring it into the ship. After discovering that there was indeed a purple quality survey radar among them, Sima De finally let go of his worries. At this moment, the two ungrateful brothers did not say any unnecessary greetings and did not bother to clean up the battlefield. Instead, they each chose a direction and left quickly. Impaired engine thrust is no small problem, especially when they are about to face the juncture of being wanted and hunted by local snake forces. They need to find a relatively secluded location to conduct emergency repairs. Leave the Bohemia kingdom as soon as possible. The battlefield returned to silence. After a while, a small lifeboat flew out from the wreckage, avoiding the direction in which the two Jin family warships left, and disappeared into the vast space. Under the cover of the Mie particles that had not yet dispersed, it was silent and did not seem to alert anyone. Except Wang Dong. It must be Sima Zongda. The pond, which was in a hidden state, was parked quietly not far away, clearly seeing this scene. The small lifeboat flew out from the wreckage of Sima Zongda's assault ship. After discovering the trace of the small lifeboat, a small detector was ejected from the hidden pond, lightly approached the stern of the small lifeboat, and was firmly fixed on it. Subsequently, the small detector quickly changed its appearance and became almost identical to the hull of a small lifeboat, making it almost impossible to distinguish with the naked eye. Wang Dong felt that it was normal for Sima Zongda to leave a way out for himself based on his habit. It would be weird not to. Therefore, he also left some hands and feet on this lifeboat. Looking thoughtfully at the direction where the lifeboat disappeared, Wang Dong smiled slightly. Immediately, he changed his direction, followed the direction where Sima Disao escaped, increased his horsepower, and pursued him straight away. He hoped that this detector would not be wasted, and he expected some surprises. At 9:23, the battle, which involved the Jin family fleet, the Tianfang Roldum caravan, and the three local forces in the Mining Star region, officially came to an end. Wang Dong and Pond were halfway through and were unscathed. Among them, the Tianfang Roldam's caravan suffered the heaviest losses, with no one spared except 3 reconnaissance ships. Even 8 transport spaceships were caught up by Sima Dalang and sunk. More than half of the 3 local forces in the mining area were lost, but the strength of the Kingfisher Guildhall was intact. In the next period of time, the distribution of forces within the mining area Starfield will definitely produce a round of turmoil. The Jin family fleet only sank 1 assault ship during the internal strife. Although the 2 fire warships were seriously damaged, they still survived. Obviously, when it comes to the actual combat power of the fire warships, the Jin family fleet has the absolute upper hand. Wang Dong was even more fortunate that he did not choose to engage in a head-on battle with Yinjia's battleship. Next, the pond remained hidden and stayed closely behind Sima Disao's ship. Following all the way, Sima Di's ship changed its course many times until it finally stopped in a deserted unmanned galaxy. Seeing Sima Disao's ship docked on the satellite of the outer planet in the unmanned galaxy, it was disguised and began emergency repairs. It was obvious that it would not leave in the short term. Wang Dong commanded the pond and deployed several detectors far away before moving away until they were out of the maximum detection range of the survey radar. Based on the principle of caution, Wang Dong once again opened a considerable distance, and then let the battle axe guide exit the hidden state in a gaseous planet. Then he flew out of the gaseous planet and entered the universe. Wang Dong had no intention of approaching Sima Disao's ship in a hidden state and then making a sneak attack. Doing so will undoubtedly expose the existence of the Mirage system. So much so that it was easily linked to the missing Tomahawk. Even if Wang Dong had no intention of keeping him alive, who can say for sure about this kind of thing? It would be even more troublesome if people find ways to leave some clues if the mouth is silenced but not completely eliminated. Rather than doing this, it is better to continue to separate the pond and the Tomahawk. Just think that the pond is a simple ship, playing the role of a fisherman in a conflict between the snipe and the clam. As for how the pond tracked Sima Di's ship, it's very simple. Maybe the survey radar on the pond is of higher quality and enhanced level than that on the Sima Disao ship, so it can be tracked outside the opponent's detection range. It is also possible that the pond used some kind of ship-based module with tracking function, allowing Li Haohao to grasp the whereabouts of Sima Disao. Anyway, it has nothing to do with the concealment effect of the Mirage system. A few hours later, the pond approached the satellite where Sima Disao's ship was located. Your Excellency Captain, beware of abnormal situations. The radar operator's warning was timely. But Sima Disao was full of bitterness. At this time, Sima Disao's ship was in a state of emergency repair. The engine room at the stern of the ship and the jet port behind it are key parts that should be repaired first. Even the armor modules on the outside of the ship that were damaged by more than 90% must be placed behind it. This is because when the engine thrust is damaged, not only the battleship's speed and even maneuverability cannot be guaranteed, but also the sailing mode that wants to enter deep space jump cannot be achieved. This made Sima Disao specially apply for an additional jump device from his family to obtain temporary use rights before setting off, leaving the hero useless. Although the fire-human civilization has mastered the deep space jump technology, due to the special nature of the fire warship, the deep space jump device created by the fire-human civilization may not be successfully carried by the fire ship and recognized as a shipborne module. Every jump device that can become a shipboard module of the fire warship is valuable. Not all Spark ships can be equipped with warp devices. These fire warships can only rely on third-party channels such as stargates and wormholes when conducting long voyages. The most important thing for Sima Disao right now is naturally to leave the Bohemia Kingdom and return to the Plantagenet Federation. Then the super light speed navigation of deep space jump is an irreplaceable mode. Emergency repairs involving engine parts will naturally require shutdown. Although the backup energy system can ensure the normal use of a few equipment such as the survey radar, if you want to enter combat status immediately, you must first install the opened engine compartment and the removed nozzle components. This is not a task that can be accomplished in a short time. Sima Disao could only order the entire ship to be on alert, and the maintenance workers accelerated with all their might. At the same time, ensure the silent state, hoping that the camouflage net setup is concealed enough that the other party is just passing by. Wang Dong was aware of Sima Disao's current situation, and the detector left behind in advance further confirmed the movements of 337 Sima Disao after Pond entered the communication range. There is no deliberate game of hard to get, the villain always dies from talking too much. In the distance, Mie particles were scattered, cutting off Sima Disao's external communications. Although for Sima Disao, there were no reliable reinforcements nearby, but caution prevailed, and Wang Dong did not hesitate to waste some rice particles. As a must-have product for killing people at home, the price of Mi particles is not cheap, and there are not many purchasing channels. Fortunately, the former Captain Yuan Shu had more ideas, and the inventory of Mie particles on the pond was still sufficient for a period of time. After cutting off Sima Disao's last glimmer of hope, the pond rushed straight to the bottom of a crater where Sima Disao's ship was located like an eagle. The main gun was activated, and under the desperate eyes of everyone, it accurately hit the stern position of Sima Di's ship. The armor, which had been severely damaged, was unable to stop the high-speed impact of kinetic energy projectiles. The warship undergoing repairs lying quietly in the crater like a dead fish was unable to make any maneuvers to avoid it. In the sudden explosion, the engine compartment of Sima Di's ship was directly penetrated, and the engine was completely destroyed. Vital parts were injured. In the subsequent series of explosions, the damage to Sima Di's ship exceeded the threshold, and the ship's fire went out. Sima Disao's ship sank. Subsequently, Wang Dong hovered the pond above the wreckage of the battleship, and used its 4 secondary guns to patiently destroy all the rescue cabins and kill all the survivors. Finally, armed robots on the ship were dispatched to search the wreckage of the battleship inch by inch to ensure that there was no cure. Smile slightly. Your Excellency Sima Disao, I have allowed you to live a few more days in this life. By the way, you can show off your bravery and be content. Also, please rest in peace. After searching for the loot and using the magnetic tractor beam to retrieve it into the cabin, the pond opened fire again, using both its main and secondary guns to completely destroy the wreckage of Sima Di's commanding ship. The violent bombardment caused the crater to collapse and completely buried the wreckage of Sima Di's ship. In a short period of time, Wang Dong doesn't think anyone will be able to find even a trace of it. The pond quickly left this unmanned galaxy, avoided the main channel, and sailed into the void. After the training of the Mirage system ended, Wang Dong repeated his trick to a gaseous planet, activated the Mirage system, and put the battleship into a hidden state. Then changed course and returned to the mining star field. The reason why Wang Dong chose Sima Disao as the target of tracking instead of the more disgusting Sima Delang was carefully considered. First of all, the high-quality ship-based module escorted by Wu Haozi's caravan finally fell into the hands of Sima Disao. This is a big AECF+. Secondly, if the two brothers Sima Disao and Sima Delang disappear at the same time in this star field, they will undoubtedly attract the attention of the Jin family here in the follow-up. No matter how secretive Wang Dong is trouble after all. On the contrary, Wang Dong killed Sima Disao and spared Sima Delang. Then, from the perspective of Sima Delang and even the Jin family, there are many possible explanations for Sima Disao's disappearance. For example, after instigating Sima Zongda to commit a crime that violated the first family motto of the Jin family and started fighting with his roommates, Sima Disao was worried about the punishment afterwards and chose to defect. For Sima Delang, is this statement more in line with the reality in his eyes? At the same time, it is also more in line with his interests. After Sima Disao disappeared, Sima Delang, as the victim, naturally had great righteousness in dividing the share of interests left by Sima Disao. Undoubtedly, choosing to follow Sima Delang as a choice to maximize active interests. Finally, Wang Dong took out his notebook with satisfaction and crossed out Wu Haozi's name on it. Sima Disao's name is not in the notebook. He failed to survive 3 chapters before being reborn, and was of no importance in Wang Dong's mind. On the contrary, Wu Haozi, before Wang Dong was reborn, relied on the high-quality ship-based modules he had escorted and the news about Wang Dong to successfully return to the Tianfang Earldom and received a commendation. He took this opportunity to step into the ranks of middle-level cadres in the Earldom, and his life took off. It's a pity that this time, Wang Dong's plan to drive away the wolf and fish in troubled waters directly nipped it in the bud. Along the way, Wang Dong kept hiding and hurried on. When the duration is about to end, find a celestial body nearby and hide the battleship through the celestial body. As long as you keep silent and keep the engine running at low power, it is not easy to find the whereabouts of a small battleship in the vast universe. After traveling so carefully, Wang Dong successfully returned to the mining planet after a few days. On Sima Disao's ship, Wang Dong gained a lot. After the fire warship is sunk, the fire on the ship goes out, and the shipborne modules originally mounted on the ship will most likely be damaged accordingly. Sima Disao's ship is no exception. The original standard modules such as the main gun on the ship, as well as additional modules including the blue quality thunder booster device, were all destroyed as the battleship sank. Wang Dong originally didn't expect to gain anything in this area. But the purple quality ship-based module seized from Wu Haozi's caravan eventually fell to Wang Dong's ministers. Explorer Survey Radar LV.0 Detection Range 20, Accuracy 20. Additional attributes. Spiritual detection can detect all shipborne modules that have not been carried by the fire warship within a 1 light range and display their orientation. Energy consumption 50 units. Time, buffer time 12 hours. Required conditions for upgrading: 1. 400 source points. 2. 1 unit of titanium crystal. This is a purple quality sky survey radar. Compared with the low quality goods currently used on the pond, the two basic values of detection range and detection accuracy have almost doubled. The improvement of detection range and accuracy is self-evident for a warship. This allows Wang Dong to have greater early warning range and accuracy. It is especially important for the current pond number. Not to mention, there is also the additional attribute of spiritual detection. This is also what Wang Dong is most satisfied with about this purple quality sky survey radar. Spiritual detection targets ship-based modules that have not been carried by fire warships. It can be said that it is a ship-based module specially used for excavation and undiscovered. Its best use is in a different space. The shipboard modules of the fire warship come from a variety of sources, and different spaces are one of the channels with a relatively high proportion. Every interstellar civilization in the universe has its own characteristics, otherwise it will not be able to leave its home star. Every different space battlefield of the fire warship is a process of collision with other interstellar civilizations. This kind of collision between different civilizations seems to secretly comply with certain rules, and it is easier to produce high-quality modules recognized by the shipboard fire. There are often rumors of fire warships acquiring shipboard modules in different spaces. These shipborne modules may be the main guns or other components on the warships of different space civilizations. It may also be a creation of one of its civilizations, such as a piece of mining equipment. Or it may be some kind of symbol of civilization, such as a statue with a long history. And so on and so forth. There are so many varieties that it's not easy to find them, like looking for a needle in a haystack. As far as destroyer-level fire warships are concerned, the sensing range of the shipboard fire to the shipboard module does not exceed 1 kilometer. In other words, a warship must be within a kilometer of a certain civilized artifact to determine whether it is a ship-based module that can be recognized by ship-based fire. It seems like a lot at first glance. But in the starry sky of the universe, a mere 1,000 meters is nothing. Not even a speck of dust. Furthermore, in different spaces, as soon as fire warships appear, they often have to fight with civilizations in different spaces. There is no time and opportunity to search slowly. No matter how high the probability of a ship-based module appearing is, it may not be discovered. Spiritual detection can detect all shipborne modules that are not carried by the fire warship within a range of 1 light minute and display their orientation. Although it is only a one-time effect, the buffering time is up to 12 hours. But compared with the detection range of shipborne fire itself, how much difference is there? 1 light minute. What is the difference compared to 1 kilometer? I understand everything, but it's not 100 times better. In addition, for Wang Dong, he has another advantage. Mirage system. Pond equipped with a mirage system can keep itself hidden when entering a different space. There is no need to fight with the opposite civilization as soon as it enters a different space like other fire warships. After entering, Wang Dong can use the spiritual detection function of the Explorer Survey radar first, select a suitable location, trigger a spiritual detection, and find out if there are any ships. Module exists. Then mark it out. Appropriate ones, such as some with fixed positions, rely on hidden status and collect them first. If it is inappropriate, such as on a certain battleship, use the ship's optical computer to mark it specially and treat it with caution when going to war. In this way, the harvest of the ship-based modules will not be missed, and the destruction of the ship-based modules during war can also be avoided. Under the cover of the nest, there are no eggs left. Shipboard modules are not indestructible. Such an operation is n times more difficult than the ordinary fire warships, which basically rely on luck. After the battle, the dilemma of slowly searching when cleaning the battlefield is greater. The Explorer Survey Radar is the biggest gain. Of course, it's not without its shortcomings. Purple quality ship-based modules are already considered high-end quality, and their strengthening requirements have changed from common minerals to rare minerals such as titanium crystals. Although the demand is not high, only one unit. The unit of measurement for titanium crystal is not mass or volume. It is a prismatic golden crystal. When formed naturally, its volume and mass are already fixed. Each prism crystal is 1 unit. 0. However, minerals such as titanium crystal are rarely circulated in the market. Even if they are occasionally exposed through special channels, the price is high and the quantity is very small. 1 unit is the difference between having it and not having it. But it doesn't matter. Even the Explorer Survey Radar that has not been upgraded and strengthened is far from comparable to the blank slate on the pond. After returning to the mining area, Wang Dong put him on board the pond with a smile. After the shipboard module is installed, it takes 24 hours to complete the link with the shipboard fire. Not plug and play. At the same time, a certain amount of source points must be consumed. Wang Dong now unlinked and removed the low-quality survey radar originally carried on the pond. Then replace it with the purple-quality Explorer Sky Survey Radar, which consumes 40 source points to start the process of linking the shipboard fire. Remaining source points, 77. The higher the quality of the shipborne module, the more source points it needs to consume when mounted. In addition to the Explorer Survey Radar, Wang Dong also obtained a lot of supplies from Sima Disau's battleship. These include a large amount of ammunition, standard energy blocks and living supplies, as well as a small amount of Mie particles and other sundries. Some of these were originally on Sima Disau's ship, and more were obtained from the warships of Wu Haozi's caravan. The main and secondary guns on the pond use corresponding standard kinetic energy bombs, which are the same as those on Sima Disau's ship and the escort fleet in the caravan. These supplies have greatly eased pond's supply needs. After the last different space battlefield, Wang Dong nearly exhausted all the ammunition on the battleship, and all the energy reserves relied on energy crystallization. This is not a long-term solution after all. Wang Dong originally planned to find opportunities in the near future to go to the public star field to supply supplies. As a result, the good man Sima Disau saved him trouble and effort. Main gun ammunition reserve, 1253 rounds, secondary gun ammunition reserve, 9025 rounds. Energy balance, 3368, living material balance, 986 units. In addition, all the ores originally stored on the pond were cracked by Wang Dong, and 5 units of low-level energy crystals were harvested. This caused the low-level energy crystal in Wang Dong's hand to increase to 50 units. The operation of the auxiliary system in a short period of time is completely unrestricted. I have food in my hands and don't panic in my heart. Wang Dong feels quite fulfilled. July 21st, 4 a.m. The pond, which was in hiding, quietly sent Wang Dong back to the mining planet. Complete the exchange with the armed robot who has been doing his best in the past few days and driving to many outdoor attractions. Wang Dong first worked tirelessly to borrow the shipboard optical brain on the pond to quickly analyze the audio and video data recorded by the armed robot in the past few days. No abnormalities were found. Checking the personal smart terminal again, there is no message that requires urgent reply. In addition, in the wild, the signal reception of personal smart terminals is not very good, and it is normal to not reply for a short period of time. On the contrary, high-power communication equipment is installed on the RV to facilitate the rental company's positioning and emergency call for help. Then, after Pond successfully found the hiding place, Wang Dong finally felt relieved. There was no option to rest for a night in a rented RV. Wang Dong drove back to the city overnight and had a good sleep at his home. The next day, returned the RV and settle the bill. Wang Dong raised his hand to stop a taxi and came to a remote neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. Not long ago, in the battle between the Jin family fleet and Wu Haozi's caravan outside the mining area, Sima Zongda's assault ship once played a role in turning the tide of the battle, but then the ship was sunk. Hidden among the wreckage of the assault ship was a lifeboat, which quietly left after the battle. However, he was discovered by Pond, which had always remained hidden. Wang Dong installed a small detector on the lifeboat. According to the received signal, the small lifeboat finally returned to the mining star not long ago and landed in a house in this neighborhood. The population on the mining planet is small, and the per capita area is a completely meaningless number. In this neighborhood on the edge of the city, every house is in the form of a courtyard, covering an area of at least thousands of square meters, and they are not far apart from each other. It's just a lifeboat that can be parked completely. According to the information sent back by the detector, Wang Dong saw the only survivor who got off the lifeboat. Yes, it's Sima Zongda. Obviously, that lifeboat was exactly what Sima Zongda left for himself. And this residence in a remote neighborhood was also a backup left by Sima Zongda for himself. Just by temporarily setting foot on the mineral star and performing a mission, Sima Zongda was able to leave a way out, which shows his caution and meticulousness. Sima Zongda is a collateral descendant of the Jin family. With his intelligence and step-by-step efforts, he restored the declining family business and further improved his status. He is simply a model of the rise of a collateral descendant. However, the Jin family's system forced Sima Zongda, who had a flaw in his birth, to join Sima Disao's disciples in order to seek shelter. Before his rebirth, Wang Dong suffered a lot of losses at his hands. However, Sima Zongda later severely offended a direct descendant because of his sister, and was continuously suppressed. In the end, Sima Zongda betrayed the Jin family and had several brief cooperations with Wang Dong, who was also hunted by the Jin family. There is no doubt that Tong Ma Zongda is a talent. This was verified by many facts before Wang Dong was reborn. Unfortunately, Sima Zongda's previous identity prevented Wang Dong from thinking of taking him under his command. But that was before. Wang Dong, who watched the whole battle between the Jin family's formation and Wu Haozi's caravan, could clearly see the counterattack launched by the assault ship commanded by Sima Zongda against Sima Delang's ship. Although the situation of the battle was once reversed, allowing Sima Disao to gain the upper hand, it was heroic. At the same time, there is no doubt that he is secluded from the Jin family. Regardless of whether the order to fire on the Jin family's warships was issued by Sima Zongda himself, Sima Zongda, as the commander, must bear the greatest responsibility. From that moment on, Sima Zongda's previous Jin family background no longer existed. Now Sima Zongda, even if he is lucky enough to survive, his future is bleak. Because of this, it was possible for him to be recruited by Wang Dong. Of course, not in Wang Dong's current civilian status, but soon after Wang Dong returns to the Blackstone Barony. The reason why Wang Dong came here was to see if there was any possibility of getting in touch with Sima Zongda in advance. The detector has not been discovered and is still sending back information continuously. Sima Zongda's condition was not good. It seemed that he was injured while boarding the lifeboat. There was a lot of blood on his body. He staggered off the ship, followed by a small intelligent medical machine. This silver-white wheel-shaped intelligent medical machine is also in a damaged state, and the emergency indicator light keeps flashing. Yesterday, Sima Zongda showed up, but today he never showed up. When Wang Dong approached the residence where Sima Zongda was hiding, he could hear faint sirens coming from inside. This is the automatic alarm function of intelligent medical machinery. When it cannot provide effective medical services to the patient and the patient is in a more critical situation, it will automatically alarm. Wang Dong did not hesitate, looked at the weak door, raised his hand resolutely, and then Inspire Personal Smart Terminals. Hello, I am an enthusiastic citizen. I heard the alarm of a smart medical machine in front of a house in this neighborhood. I suspect there is a serious patient in the house. Please send someone to the door immediately. The specific location can be found in the location I sent. Of course, if you have any problems, you should contact the relevant departments. Wang Dong is a good citizen, a good man who has no power to restrain a chicken. How dare you use your body to attack a private residence with automatic security devices? Once Wang Dong illegally enters Sima Zongda's residence, the activated automatic security device will not only automatically alarm, but also carry out a certain degree of self-defense counterattack. Wang Dong doesn't want to suffer. Soon, ambulances from medical institutions and security personnel from the area arrived. The alarm sound of intelligent medical machinery is quite sensitive to these professionals. Therefore, with the authorization of the sheriff, the automatic security device of the residence was unlocked by 5.0. Medical personnel came in, provided preliminary care to Sima Zongda, who was already unconscious in the house, and then sent him to an ambulance. As an enthusiastic citizen, Wang Dong can leave on his own after registering his identity and verifying the situation. However, in the name of helping until the end, he boarded the rescue corps with Ratong. Sima Zongda's injuries were serious, with multiple bleeding and concussion. Fortunately, after receiving professional medical care, he was quickly out of danger and regained consciousness. Looking at the white surroundings and feeling the pain caused by the wounds on his body, Sima Zongda could only smile bitterly. In this conflict between Sima Disao and the Sima Dalang brothers, Sima Zongda's assault ship blatantly violated the first family motto of the Jin family and attacked Sima Dalang's warship. For Sima Zongda, the consequences were extremely serious. Chapter 81. Most of the crew members on that assault ship were Sima Disao's subordinates. Sima Zongda only had command power. Although Sima Zongda, who was kidnapped by his adjutant, was lucky enough to board the lifeboat at the last moment with the help of his backup plan, he was still seriously injured in the process of escaping. But things have already happened, even if the person who issued this order was not Sima Zongda himself, but the adjutant assigned to his ship by Sima Disao. Sima Zongda still inevitably takes the blame. He has neither human nor physical evidence. What's more, with his status, he has no say in the Jin family. Sima Zongda died, so he gave up. If Sima Zongda is not dead, he will inevitably be pursued relentlessly by the Jin family. Therefore, after escaping with his life, Sima Zongda's first priority was to hide himself and not expose himself to the Jin family's sight. As for the mining star, the planet closest to the incident, Sima Zongda's stay here was still very risky. The problem is that there is only one option for the shelter that Sima Zongda can reach in a short period of time. He originally wanted to stay here for a few days to take care of his injuries before moving. Unfortunately, people cannot count as much as days. Not only was he injured, but the intelligent medical machinery was also damaged during the sinking of the assault ship. As a result, his injury not only did not improve, but worsened. If he hadn't been lucky enough to meet a good citizen, Tong Medallion would not have been able to save his life. Instead of being heroic in the ship battle, he died on the bed in the safe house. That is too dark and humorous. But being sent to a public place like a medical institution was also not what Sima Zongda wanted. In a place like this, records will definitely be left, and people who are interested can easily trace his whereabouts afterwards. Although, it will take some time for both Sima Disao and Sima Dalang to return to the star domain of the Jin family in the Plantagenet Federation. But the transmission of the news only took a few days. As long as Sima Dalang and Sima Disao's ships evacuate to a safe area, it will not be difficult to contact the Jin family. As the news that Sima Zongda violated the Jin family's motto spread back, the consequences were serious. Sima Zongda was not alone. He had a younger sister and a family business. If something happens to him, the news must be sent back in time so that the family has time to react and respond. Otherwise, Tong Madalang will definitely take revenge on his family. In addition, without the protection of Sima Zongda, his sister was also unable to resist the covetousness from some people in the clan. For civilian uses such as the Star Network, interoperability has not been enabled between the two countries and cannot be directly connected through China Unicom. Moreover, the Jin family has always been strict in controlling their territory. Civilian networks have long been fully monitored. Once Sima Zongda uses this channel, there is a huge risk of exposing his identity and whereabouts. Sima Zongda, a dead man, actually came back to life, which will inevitably trigger a subsequent reaction from the Jin family. With Sima Zongda's caution, he would not act like this unless absolutely necessary. Cross-star long-distance communication, and secret communication, is not only expensive, but also requires certain channels. With Sima Zongda's ability, there is no need to worry about channels. Money is the big issue. In a remote place like Mineral Star, many of Sima Zongda's resources cannot be mobilized without exposing his own survival. He can only rely on himself to earn money while concealing his identity. Sima Zongda originally thought that as soon as he returned to the mining star, he would immediately find ways to hide his identity to make a quick buck, and then spread the news of the emergency back home through some underground channels. However, this serious injury and the accidental damage from the intelligent medical machine completely ruined his plan. The time left for Sima Zongda and his family is not worthy. You seem troubled. A clear voice rang in my ears, and then a piece of fruit was handed over. Sima Zongda knew that this was the enthusiastic citizen, Wang Dong, who discovered the alarm sound of the intelligent medical machine and notified the medical institution to save his life. After Sima Zongda woke up, the two had a brief introduction and conversation. The chat between the two parties was obviously more pleasant. Especially in the aspect of caution, the two have a lot in common. At the same time, on the issue of three views, some of the views put forward by Wang Dong are also in line with Sima Zongda's taste. During the conversation, after Wang Dong learned that Sima Zongda was only single on the mining star, he decided to stay and accompany him out of the dangerous period. A strange guy who claims, if we can meet like this, it means we are destined. But he should be a good person. After taking the fruit, Sima Zongda stared at the snow-white flesh, pondered for a moment, and then chose to speak directly. Time is running out, any glimmer of hope must be grasped. I need some money. Wang Dong smiled clearly and said, the medical expenses of the mining star are indeed not cheap, but for a qualified interstellar miner, it is acceptable. Don't worry, I will pay for the medical expenses first, and we will talk about it when it is more convenient for you. A good man indeed, Ma Zongda confirmed again. In addition, I also need a lot of money, at least 300,000. With his strong heart, Sima Zongda said things in a calm tone that were difficult for ordinary people to accept. He looked up at Wang Dong's warm eyes. Hearing Sima Zongda's words, Tian Dong raised his eyebrows in surprise. But he did not reveal any negative emotions towards Sima Zongda. But after thinking for a moment, he smiled and spoke. Although we just met, I can see that Brother Ma Da is not an ordinary person. In ordinary times, 300,000 yuan should only be regarded as a small sum of money to Brother Ma Da. I don't know what happened to Brother Ma Da that led to this current predicament. But I believe that Brother Ma Da will be able to get out of this predicament. There must be a very important reason why Brother Ma Da doesn't hesitate to talk to me, a stranger I just met. Without further ado, 300,000 yuan is no problem. Please give me your account number, Brother Ma, and I will transfer the money immediately. Sima Zongda was a little surprised, but also felt a little inexplicable. Ma Da is naturally his pseudonym. If you misreport your real name, you will be committing suicide. Wang Dong's initial impression on him was very clear. He was a good person with good abilities and qualities among the civilian class. He is able to spend time and energy for a stranger, and also actively agrees to advance medical expenses. He is kind-hearted and has good economic conditions. As for Sima Zongda's subsequent offer of 300,000 yuan, he actually did not expect Wang Dong to agree. His original intention is that even if he can't borrow 300,000 yuan, he can borrow as much as he can. The more startup capital he has, the more money he can make based on his ability, and the shorter the time it takes to make enough money. 300,000, for a civilian, is definitely not a small number. In Mining Star, a residence with an area of several hundred square meters costs less than 100,000 yuan. Although the profession of interstellar miner can be regarded as an income level above the middle level among the civilian class, 300,000 yuan is not something that can be easily obtained. But Wang Dong just agreed. This made Sima Zongda feel a little unsure for a moment. It was completely beyond his expectation of Wang Dong. In Wang Dong's view, this choice is very simple. First of all, he knew Sima Zongda's true identity and talent, and understood his current predicament. Secondly, Wang Dong covets Sima Zongda's body. He covets other people's talents. If there is an opportunity to be kind, he will not miss it. Sima Zongda will probably not stay in Mindstar for a long time. If he misses this opportunity, he will try to contact Sima Zongda incognito next time. I don't know when it will be. Although Wang Dong's current status is not yet able to recruit Sima Zongda to work for him, as long as he has this impressive contact, there will naturally be unlimited possibilities in the future. In the end, it was only 300,000 in the currency of the Bohemia Kingdom, which was really nothing to Wang Dong, who already owned a fire battleship. As for whether his good intentions were too much, it aroused Sima Zongda's suspicion. Wang Dong didn't care. Sima Zongda was in urgent need of the money, and even needed it so badly that he asked him, a stranger, to speak directly. In this case, even if he was asked to sell himself directly, there might be a slight possibility, and a mere suspicion would be nothing. Even if Wang Dong was showing favor, Sima Zongda would have to accept it. What's more, it comes from the goodwill of a savior. From a human perspective, Sima Zongda will be more accepting. Sima Zongda said subconsciously, I don't have a suitable account at the moment. It would be best if you could directly give me cash or precious metals of equivalent value. Wang Dong showed a big smile. No problem. In the afternoon of that day, Sima Zongda completed the emergency discharge procedures and left with the 300,000 cash given to him by Wang Dong. All that was left for Wang Dong was a small note. After Wang Dong carefully noted down the contents on the note, he destroyed it. It is a secret way of contacting someone. Wang Dong had a premonition that Sima Zongda would soon leave the Mindstar. Especially after he got the news that Sima Disao was missing. That would mean that Sima Delang had full say in this mission, and Sima Zongda no longer had any hope of making a comeback in the Jin family. Moreover, with the disappearance of Sima Disao, the Jin family will definitely send people to investigate in the future. At that time, if Sima Zongda stays in the Mindstar, the risks he faces will definitely be 100 times higher than now. After achieving his goal, Wang Dong was in a good mood. He returned home and took out a blue injection. This is the antidote that Yuan Shu stored in the captain's room. The antidote to the Yuan family's secret medicine. After sinking Sima Disao's ship and confirming Sima Disao's death, the shipboard optical brain on the pond unlocked the antidote to Wang Dong. It should be said that this is not the first time Wang Dong has used this antidote. Already used once before rebirth. So Wang Dong knows the next process very well. No special preparation is required, just inject directly. But after injecting this antidote, there will be a period of drowsiness. Therefore, Wang Dong did not inject on the pond, but waited until he returned to the mining planet before injecting again. As the antidote was injected into the body, the Yuan family's secret medicine on Wang Dong disappeared. Wang Dong successfully got rid of the shackles left by Yuan Shu and began to truly control his own destiny. Have you heard? Wu Haozi's caravan was attacked in the nearby star field and the entire army was wiped out. In the evening, Wang Dong received a communication from Zheng Yan and others. Without exception, the fourth caravan of Tianfang Earldom was attacked. There is a certain delay in the transmission of messages, and messages at this level are operable for some upper-level people. Therefore, it is actually not bad to be able to get the news within just a few days after the incident. If you are an ordinary civilian, you may have to wait half a month or even a month before you see relevant reports in the popular news. It can be seen that after being aroused with the ambition to rise in class, the members of this small group have achieved some results through their own efforts. It was natural to meet again. The venue for this gathering was the private room of Maizu Internet Cafe proposed by Wang Dong. This relatively high-end private room has 2 to 8-star network access devices. In addition, it also has entertainment facilities such as a small bar, which is suitable for a small gathering of friends or a couple. Based on the information we collected from several different channels, we can basically confirm it. Wu Haozi's caravan was almost completely wiped out. Except for a few reconnaissance ships, all escort fleets and transport fleets including Wu Haozi's ship were sunk. Even Wu Haozi himself could not escape help. Quote, Zheng Yan looked serious, and even when she mentioned the news of Wu Haozi's death, there was not much joy on her face. Chen Linfang said with some confusion, Wu Haozi, evil will be punished. This is a good thing. Why are you so serious, squad leader? Before Zheng Yan could answer, Li Ziqing gave him an annoyed look. Fool, If Wu Hao's dies, he will die, but don't forget his identity. The fourth caravan of Earl Tianfang was completely wiped out near the mining area. When this news is sent back, how do you think Earl Tianfang will react? Quote, well, of course we have to send someone to handle the follow-up and also find out the specific circumstances of the attack. Chen Linfang said naturally. Then tell me, are we, who just caused trouble for Wu Hao some time ago, also within the scope of the investigation by the people led by Earl Tianfang? Li Ziqing sneered. What does this matter have to do with us? We just caused a little trouble for Wu Hao's. Chen Linfang's eyes widened and he said inexplicably. In the eyes of the Earl of Tianfang, it doesn't matter what you think, the key is what he thinks. Ding Ling, who was sitting next to Wang Dong, said quietly. Chen Linfang's face turned dark and he was speechless for a long time. Several people fell silent. It was Zheng Yan who broke the silence. Let's not worry too much yet. Didn't Wang Dong say that the current Earl of Tianfang is in poor health, with various forces in his territory intertwined, and he is not enthusiastic about external affairs? Maybe the follow-up investigation won't be able to find us. Even if it is found, there is a small problem. After all, the mining area belongs to the Blackstone Barony, and the Tianfang earldom cannot do whatever it wants. Well, let's pay more attention to this news when we go back. The soldiers will come to cover up the water and the earth. There is nothing to worry about. Li Ziqing nodded. I will try to find out the Blackstone Baron's opinion on this matter. We are not involved in the matter deeply, so there may be no hope for improvement. Ding Ling clenched his fists and cheered for everyone. The atmosphere on the planet in the mining area doesn't seem to be very peaceful recently, and the big forces like the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce seem to be making big moves. If it's all because of the attack on the caravan, maybe there's a mystery inside that we don't know about. The little things we did before may not have been taken seriously by others at all. Quote, Chen Linfang, who pondered for a moment, came up with another possibility due to the uniqueness of his own channel, Zhao S. Wang Dong watched the whole process. Although faced with difficulties, none of them had any excuses or complaints. Worrying about the coming storm, but not flinching or giving up on oneself. They are all actively planning. This is a necessary atmosphere for a qualified small team. After Wu Hao's and his caravan were wiped out, the development of things was different from before Wang Dong was reborn. The fourth caravan of the Tianfang earldom was destroyed near the mining star field in the Blackstone Barony. Wang Dong had no clear answer to the subsequent development brought about by this incident. But he wasn't panicked. Wu Hao's has no clear target in the earldom of Tianfang. But judging from his conscious invitation to Zheng Yan to participate in the preliminary talent selection, he should be relatively inclined towards the third son of the Earl. Wang Dong crossed his hands, placed his elbows on the small bar, and said softly. Several people nodded understandingly. The third son of the Earl is currently in charge of preparing talents. Since Wu Hao's intends to introduce Zheng Yan, who has an outstanding figure and appearance, into the ranks of the Earl's preparatory talents, that is to say, he will introduce her into the mouth of the Earl's third son, a lustful and hungry ghost. Its tendency is self-evident. Inside the earldom, we can see this tendency more clearly than outsiders like us. Therefore, the most important thing about the destruction of Wu Hao's and his caravan must be the Earl's third son. Wang Dong continued. In recent years, with the intensification of internal struggles in the earldom, the development strategy of the entire earldom has already shifted from strategic balance to strategic conservatism. Several people looked puzzled by Wang Dong's so-called strategy. Wang Dong explained in due course. As the Tianfang earldom with the strongest power and the highest title in the nearby star field, since the current earl inherited the title, it has adopted a dynamic strategic balancing policy. The so-called dynamic strategic balance refers to proactively taking various measures to maintain the relative balance of various forces within the scope of their influence. In layman's terms, it means holding the strong and supporting the weak to prevent new powerful forces from emerging nearby, which would in turn shake the influence of the Tianfang earldom. Quote. Several people nodded suddenly, except 430 Chen Linfang. Wang Dong turned a blind eye to Chen Linfang's scratching of his head. He didn't need to hear it clearly. As for strategic conservatism, it is not actually a real strategy. It is because the internal struggle in Tianfang County is too fierce, which makes it impossible to make consistent decisions externally. This results in a passive inaction-based treatment effect. In other words, the Tianfang earldom loosened its collars on all the surrounding forces and let them roam free. This has also led to increasingly fierce conflicts between various forces in the nearby star field in recent years. Existences such as the Star Thieves group are also becoming more and more rampant. Li Ziqing suddenly said, "No wonder the overall scale of interstellar trade in recent years has been greatly affected. My father said that business is much more difficult to do." Ding Ling also said, "I see. No wonder the patrol fleet in the mining area has been expanded repeatedly in recent years, and the Baron Mansion even specially transferred a small space fortress." Zheng Yan lightly patted the armrest of the chair and said, "As a noble directly under His Majesty the King, the Blackstone barony should have been fully suppressed by the local aristocratic faction headed by Earl Tianfang. But in fact, the Blackstone barony has been developing rapidly in recent years. Although the surrounding local aristocratic forces AEB have a cold and unfriendly attitude, they have not taken large-scale measures such as encirclement to curb it. It seems that the main reason is that Tianfang earldom itself is unable to take care of others." Chen Linfang continued to scratch his head and asked, "Does this have something to do with our next trouble?" "He is neither stupid nor naive. It's just that in some aspects, I was born with a lack of strings." Wang Dong smiled but didn't answer. Instead, Li Ziqing said, "You idiot." Wang Dong made it very clear. The Count of Kaifeng is now a group of guys who fight among themselves behind closed doors. If no robbers kick in the door and disturb them, Earl Tianfang will wait until the final winner is determined internally before opening the door and coming out to cause trouble for others. Chen Linfang understood now and said happily, "In other words, even if Wu Haozi's caravan is attacked, Tianfang earldom will not care. No one will care about the obstacles we set against Wu Hao's before. Quote, it must be managed, otherwise what's the face of the earldom? Will we still do business with the caravans outside in the future?" Zheng Yan shook her head. "But the Earl of Tianfang will not go to war because of this. It will only identify the culprit and take targeted actions. As for us little shrimps who are obviously irrelevant, they have no intention to take care of us. That's not the same thing. Anyway, we won't have any trouble." Chen Linfang laughed. Li Ziqing gave him another helpless look. Although it sounds a bit strange, what Chen Linfang said seems to be the final conclusion. "There will still be a little trouble." Wang Dong smiled. "In the investigation of this accident, the Earl's third son, as a person directly related, will definitely join in. Then, the probability of our charming squad leader coming into his sight is almost 100%. For this hungry ghost, this is undoubtedly a delicious dish. The probability of the opponent's performance in solving the problem can also be expected. Although the current earldom of Tianfang can put little pressure on the barony of Blackstone. Moreover, the attitude of the third earl's son does not represent the entire earldom. We don't need to worry too much about official pressure. But the squad leader's personal troubles, I'm afraid they are inevitable." Quote. Everyone blinked, and Chen Linfang was the first to laugh knowingly. Then Ding Ling and Li Ziqing couldn't help laughing. Being too good-looking is also a burden. Zheng Yan sighed softly, "You are the delicious food. As long as no official from the Blackstone barony comes forward, as local snakes, they are not really afraid of people coming from the earldom from afar. As for the harassment of wild bees and butterflies, Zheng Yan has seen it all. There is nothing you can do about good-looking people." Zheng Yan also laughed at Li Ziqing and Ding Ling. "You still have the intention to laugh at me. A xiaojiabiyu, a legal loli, the heart is treated as an appetizer." So it was Li Ziqing and Ding Ling's turn to fight back. "You're the appetizer. What is a legal lolita? Please explain it clearly to me. Don't think that I won't bite you because you are the monitor." Wang Dong and Chen Linfang couldn't help laughing as they watched the three girls playing around. The atmosphere in the box suddenly became joyful. Later, Wang Dong and Chen Linfang stayed to surf the internet, while the three women went home respectively. Good girls generally don't spend the night in internet cafes. Just as Tututu was online, Wang Dong happily chatted with the little girl for a long time. Then Wang Dong heard a piece of gossip. Within the Plantagenet Federation, the largest opposition party has changed from the original Kuomintang party to a newly established Civilization Party. Its leader is surprisingly the president of the Plantagenet Federal Academy of Sciences, Zhang Shensho. This name impressed Wang Dong. Before his rebirth, the Jin family, Wang Dong's biggest culprit, was the top force in the Plantagenet Federation. In the following years, Zhang Shensho and the Civilization Party he founded became one of the protagonists who caused disturbances in the Plantagenet Federation. So Wang Dong and Tututu went a little deeper on the topic of civilized party. By the way, search for Zhang Shensho's personal information on the Star Domain Network. The Star Network between the two countries is not interconnected, which does not mean that some public data information is also completely isolated. Enthusiastic netizens will never be lacking no matter what era. What's more, the profession of reporter is still shining in the interstellar era. All kinds of shocked bodies and surprised bodies still abound. After a quick search, Wang Dong received a bunch of reviews. What a handsome uncle. She's so beautiful, I've taken a screenshot and collected it. Follow, pay attention, who knows which self-media platform Minister Zhang often uses. After shielding these chaff, you can get the good stuff. Zhang Shensho, male, age 136, intermediate level 55.5 in physical training, graduated from the Federal Central Institute of Science and Technology and Higher Education. He has served as the president of the Federal Academy of Sciences since January 10,055. In the interstellar era, human lifespan has further improved. Even among the common people, it is not uncommon for people to live to the age of 150 in good health. Moreover, the practice of physical training after the intermediate level can effectively extend lifespan. For Zhang Shensho, 136 years old is just middle age. The Plantagenet Federal Academy of Sciences is an independent administrative unit, and the administrative level of the president is close to the top official of the administrative system in the country. The status is equivalent to a marquis in the Bohemia Kingdom. This is Wang Dong's perception. If Wang Dong remembers correctly, this seemingly promising dean will participate in this term's federal presidential election, and in the first few stages, he has been leading the vote. However, in view of his overly open policy ideas, which violated the interests of large forces such as the Jin family, or the privileged class, overnight, Zhang Shensho was ruled as a traitor, and the Civilization Party was defined as an illegal political party. Zhang Shensho was forced to go into exile abroad, and the Civilization Party was scattered. That's what will happen in the next 2 months. Of course, if that's all, Zhang Shensho is not the protagonist who disturbs the situation. Just 2 years later, Zhang Shensho made a comeback. After gaining support from other countries, Zhang Shensho carefully planned and carried out uprisings in 18 administrative regions within the Plantagenet Federation, and established a revolutionary army, and appointed himself as the general leader. Became the instigator of the split of the Plantagenet Federation and the biggest beneficiary after the split. Really disturbed the situation. Wang Dong had no dealings with him in his previous life, but the territory of the Revolutionary Army was a good refuge for him. The ideas of the Revolutionary Army are inherently hostile to forces like the Jin family. Because Zhang Shensho's proposal was to open the first-generation fire battleship and the bodybuilding technique to the civilian class on a limited basis. Both of these are important resources monopolized by the privileged class and relied on to maintain their status. If Zhang Shensho can succeed, the water here is really deep. Wang Dong does not want to join the Revolutionary Army. But since Zhang Shensho is mentioned, you still need to pay attention. I heard that this person has extraordinary talents and amazing personality. If there is a chance, Wang Dong really wants to meet him. Before Wang Dong was reborn, there was a saying circulating in the star field that included the Plantagenet Federation, the Bohemia Kingdom, and dozens of other countries. If you don't know Zhang Shensho, even if you call him a hero, he will be disappointed. Maybe there is an element of propaganda, but in Wang Dong's opinion, such a character is indeed worth seeing. Live a new life, live a more casual life under the premise of caution, and that is the true meaning of enjoying life. After chatting for a while, Tututu, who was still a student at school, went offline to take a rest. Wang Dong didn't stay any longer and ended his surfing the internet after a few hours. August 1st, sunny. The orange light shines on the body, making it warm and comfortable. Because of its orbit, there is not much time when you can enjoy this kind of warm sunshine on the mining planet. On the afternoon of July 23, the shipboard fire on the pond had ended its month-long buffer period. This also means that by consuming only one more unit of low-level energy crystal, Guangdong can rely on the incredible function of the auxiliary system to allow the pond to directly capture signals from different spaces, and then open a new different space battlefield. But Guangdong was in no hurry to board the pond. Instead, he waited until August 1, a normal mining day, and still chose to use mining as a cover before boarding the pond. Guangdong, who had just disappeared from the public eye for several days in the name of an outdoor outing, could not find a suitable reason to disappear again for at least 24 hours. It is even more inappropriate to violate the rules and arrange a mining trip in a hurry. Even though the threat from the Jin family has disappeared for the time being, Guangdong still remains cautious. But it's just a delay of a few days, so it's not a big deal. By the way, this can also be used to make a small adjustment to the time period for the buffering of the shipboard fire on the pond, which will be more convenient for future battlefields in different spaces. On the tarmac of the mining company, Guangdong looked around. He originally planned to use the scanning field of view of the auxiliary system to select a mining spacecraft in good condition. The unshaven administrator Zhou Laosan stopped him. "Brother Guangdong, wait a moment." Guangdong raised his eyebrows and asked. Zhou Laosan looked around and saw several miners selecting spaceships, so he gently pulled Guangdong aside. "Lao Qin's mine may not be able to be saved. It will be transferred to the Tianyu caravan in the near future. The mining company's accounting standards may change in the future. Those guys in the Tianyu caravan who dig oil out of stone eggs will not be like Lao Qin. Qin is so easy to talk to. Brother Guangdong, I suggest you take advantage of the time when Lao Qin has not left, and work a few more times to get the money into your own pocket, which is the real benefit. Next, whenever you find rare ores, just come to me, Zhou Laosan, and I guarantee to get you the best purchase price. By the way, this news hasn't been announced yet. On the surface, Lao Qin is still holding on, so don't let it slip easily." Quote. Zhou Laosan's vague tone made Guangdong have to concentrate to understand. Lao Qin was originally the largest contractor in the mining area, and he had made a lot of money for such a long time. But listening to what Zhou Laosan meant, it seemed that he was under pressure from the Tianyu caravan and had to spit out this piece of fat. As for Zhou Laosan's suggestion, Guangdong just listens to it. If it is really the Tianyu caravan that takes over the contracting rights of the mining company in the mining area, it is indeed not a good thing for interstellar miners like Guangdong. Compared with the Tianyu caravan, which is always willing to pay for every penny, Lao Qin, a qualified profiteer, can be said to be charitable and charitable. The Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce, the Tianyu Caravan and the Kingfisher Guild are the three major local forces on the mining planet, and the Tianyu Caravan has the worst reputation. But the content of private goods contained in Zhou Laosan's words was too high. It's nothing more than wanting to change his boss, and he doesn't know if he can continue doing his job. It's better to make some money while you still have some power. The reason why Guangdong was approached was because Guangdong's mining level was obvious to all. Of course, this kind of thing cannot be publicized so that everyone knows it. Zhou Laosan can only choose a few people to operate on a small scale. The so-called preferential purchase price is more likely that Zhou Laosan paid for it himself and then found an outside channel to sell it. Can the market price and the mining company's purchase price be the same thing? At a price slightly higher than the purchase price of the mining company, the rare ores mined by Guangdong and others were purchased, and then sold at a fair price on the market. Between the entry and exit, there is a large amount of profit that originally belonged to the mining company. Guangdong sees this clearly. Of course, Zhou Laosan dared to act so unscrupulously, which also confirmed from the side that the news that Lao Qin was going to be kicked out basically did not escape. Why did this change happen? Considering the turmoil that occurred among the local forces on the mining planet in the past few days after the party, Guangdong was somewhat aware of it. After giving Zhou Laosan a few vague words, Guangdong got rid of this person, looked around, and found that the mining spacecraft he had just selected was still on the tarmac. He immediately walked towards it. As he walked, he was thinking about the rumors revealed in Zhou Laosan's words just now. Originally, among the local forces on the mining planet. The loudest one is Kongsha Chamber of Commerce, the best one is Tianyu Caravan, and the most well-informed one is Kingfisher Guildhall. These three major forces overwhelm the dozen or so smaller forces below them and occupy most of the market on the mining planet. But this time, in a situation provoked by Wang Dong, the situation is in troubled waters. Driven by greed, he invested all the force he relied on to support the existence of the organization into the 410 for the purpose of seeking opportunities. The result was a battle between Wu Haozi's caravan and the Jin family's fleet. The mixed fleet composed of three major local forces was forced to be used as cannon fodder. They were beaten hard by Sima Disao and fled in confusion. Among them, the two assault ships sent by the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce were all sunk. Of the two assault ships sent by Kingfisher Guildhall, one survived. The two assault ships of the Tianyu Caravan were intact. After the surviving battleships returned to the mining star field, the three major forces began to ebb and flow, and turmoil naturally occurred. The Tianyu Caravan took the initiative and embezzled the interests that originally belonged to the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce. The high-end combat power of the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce is in a blank period, and it can only be forced to challenge and retreat. The Kingfisher Guild is neutral and defensive, and other small forces are also showing signs of taking advantage of the chaos. Since this week, the security in the mining area has been continuously alerted. It was only with the intervention of the Chief of Public Security that peace in the urban area was barely maintained. Think about it again. The Kongsha Chamber of Commerce is called the Chamber of Commerce, but it is actually a family-dominated force with the surname Qin. It seems that Lao Qin, the boss of the mining company where Wang Dong works, originally relied on the big tree of the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce to win the contract rights of the mining area. At present, the big tree of Kongsha Chamber of Commerce has difficulty in protecting itself, so naturally it cannot take care of Lao Qin's mining company and mining contract rights. This is the reason why Lao Qin was forced to leave and transferred the mining company and mining area contracting rights to Tianyu Caravan. Although it is a guess, Wang Dong feels that it is almost the same. I want to say whether this change has any impact on him. There should still be some. His current apparent income comes from mining. The entry of the Tianyu Caravan will predictably reduce the income of interstellar miners. What's more, further control may be taken on interstellar miners. For example, forcing them to increase mining frequency to increase profit margins. Sure enough, everything has two sides. Wang Dong's previous instigation allowed him to gain a lot of benefits from Wu Haozi's caravan and Sima Disao. But it was also because of this incident that his life was cast into the shadow of the Tianyu Caravan. With a smile, Wang Dong didn't worry too much. Earlier, he might be a little worried. But the time has come to August. In another month, he will give up his job as an interstellar miner. No matter how arrogant the Tianyu Caravan is, they will be nothing after leaving the mining area. Board the mining spaceship and rush to the mining area. The forward base was as lively as ever. Many miners are discussing the struggle between several local forces in the mining area during this period. At the same time, they are also puzzled by the decline of the big force of the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce. Wang Dong was not involved and quietly waited for the window period to arrive before leaving the forward base and entering the mining area. Meet up with Pond. Without wasting time, Wang Dong sat on the commander's chair and entered the high-speed human-computer data interaction state. Only in this state can the body space signal capture function provided by the Battleship auxiliary system be turned on. First, activate the Mirage system to put the Pond into hiding. Then, Wang Dong turned on the different space signal capture function. As the unit of low-level energy crystals on the palm slowly disappeared, the shipboard fire began to rise slightly. After a slight tilt, as the low-level energy crystals completely disappeared, the shipboard fire stabilized. Low-level energy crystal stock, 55 units. Hey, our ship's fire has received the signal from another space and can open the battlefield in another space. Please confirm, Captain. Beep. In the asteroid belt with complex celestial links, Pond successfully received signals from different spaces. There is no need to spend time rushing to the void area of the universe, nor do you need to wait for a long time to capture the random and fleeting signals from other spaces. The practical auxiliary system allows Wang Dong to easily enter the different space battlefield anywhere in the universe. The next moment, the Tomahawk's engine was running at full speed, the ship's fire was rising violently, the flames were blazing, and it was full of power. With a mysterious fluctuation, the pond was teleported to another time and space in an instant. A strong sense of dizziness hit me suddenly, and then receded like a tide after a moment. Wang Dong regained consciousness. After a slight tilt, the prompt message from the ship's optical brain sounded. Enemy traces were found, and the search results are as follows. First level interstellar civilization, planet level mining area, quantity 1. Mining units, number 3365, fixed buildings, number 153, extremely low threat. Quote. After switching to the purple quality Explorer survey radar, pond's detection range and detection accuracy have made great progress. The virtual screen unfolded in front of Wang Dong clearly displayed the situation in the vast airspace around the pond. After Wang Dong saw the result, he couldn't help but laugh 3 times. This is a mining area. A planet-level mining area. The pond appears above a planet. There is no atmosphere or ecosystem on this planet. It is an uninhabited planet. On this planet, close to the equator, is a large-scale mining base. The equipment used for mining is the suspended mining vehicle. There are many types of minecarts, and basically none are shorter than 50 meters. Depending on the category, there are a variety of mining equipment configured on it. These minecarts are obviously under the unified command of the mining base. They carry out mining and excavation activities at different locations on the planet, and then transport the collected minerals to the mining base for preliminary smelting. According to the exploration results of the survey radar, there are more than 3,000 mining trucks carrying out mining operations. In the mining base, Wang Dong found no warships, but there were 10 fixed turrets built on the ground to serve as security forces. This is an ordinary automated mining area. There are not even warships on patrol, which shows that it is not an important location. Slightly tilted, as the data message intrusion from the survey radar ended, Wang Dong obtained some basic information. Civilization in different spaces. Shike Civilization, civilization history 8,896 years. Civilization level, first class interstellar civilization. Main energy source, nuclear energy. Scope of influence, 1.3 light-years, habitable planets unknown, population unknown. Ship type combat power, unknown. Language, Shike language. Civilized system, parliamentary system. Current target, unmanned mining base. Belongs to Bruce Fenduo Mining Group. Next mineral transportation time, 3,244 hours. Although it's not very useful, at least it has some reference value. For example, the current uninhabited mining area is basically isolated from the world. Even the transportation of minerals takes place at least once every 100 days. Wang Dong is a little disappointed. The harvest this time may be relatively average. Even though the number of minecarts is as high as more than 3,000, for the fire warship, the profit is not high. With a 100% source point acquisition rate, destroying a battleship is the source point for this first-level alien space civilization. If you switch to non-combat units such as minecarts, it will take almost 10 minecarts to obtain one source point. Fixed turrets are slightly better, each one can be worth about one source point. As for the remaining unarmed fixed buildings, the proportion is even lower. The threat in this different space battlefield is extremely low. For some novice fire battleship, it is a good novice village difficulty scene, suitable for starting from scratch. But for an experienced driver like Wang Dong, it is too simple. Wang Dong was a little disappointed, but quickly cheered up. Every different space battlefield is the result of random selection. It's impossible to get what you want every time. At least in this mining area in front of us, Pond No can eat steadily and there is still some profit. There was no rush to get started. Wang Dong inspired the spiritual detection function of the Explorer Sky Survey Radar. First try the effect of this purple quality survey radar. After an invisible wave, 2 light spots were marked on the virtual screen. Hey, is it really there? Wang Dong exclaimed. This means that within 1 light minute, there are 2 shipborne modules that have not been carried by the fire warship. 2 light spots, 1 blue and 1 green, are both inside the mining base. Without spiritual detection, Wang Dong would probably have destroyed it in a subsequent attack. Wang Dong zoomed in on these two civilizational artifacts that have the potential to become ship-based modules and inspected their specific locations. Purple quality survey radar is just different. Wang Dong easily enlarged the picture to a level that was not supported by previous survey radar detection accuracy. One piece of green quality is a laser mining gun on a vehicle being unloaded in the mining base. Geistlich laser mining gun, green, mining depth, 100 meters, mining speed, 0.1 cubic meter per second, energy consumption, 1 per hour. Another item of blue quality is a mineral detector mounted on a prospecting ship docked in the mining base. Geisenberg mineral detector, blue, detection range, 1000 meters, detection speed, 100 seconds, energy consumption, 1 per hour. Wang Dong smiled and said, "It can only be said that it is a professional mining base. Even the ship-borne modules contained therein are specially used for mining. These two modules are not standard modules and are classified as additional modules. Requires additional module slots. The current pond has only 3 additional module slots, which are respectively equipped with the Mirage system, the Flying Horse jump device and the Quantum Entanglement brainwave manipulation system. All 3 are indispensable, and there is no way to free up new slots for the time being. This makes Wang Dong a little regretful. If it can be equipped with these 2 mining modules, the pond can also collect some ore while hiding in the asteroid belt mining area. It will be used when the shipboard module is upgraded and strengthened. In addition, the blue quality mineral detector is also a great help when searching for energy crystals." Without hesitation, Pond, which remained in hiding, first activated the energy shield, and then came out of hiding. Lower the mining base and fire the main gun, first destroying the mining base's defenses. 1 shot per fixed turret, and in just 10 minutes, all 10 fixed turrets were raised. These fixed turrets launched a counterattack at the first opportunity. However, the shells they fired landed on the energy shield and were easily blocked. Although the durability of the energy shield was slightly reduced, it failed to cause further damage. The number of fixed turrets with such intensity of firepower must be at least hundreds to make the pond have some scruples. Wang Dong's performance is completely out of control. It's no wonder that an ordinary automatic mining base can invest as much force as it can to guard it. The income from mining may not be enough to cover the cost. After destroying all the defensive forces, Wang Dong was free to use his secondary guns to carefully destroy the 2 marked targets, and then use the magnetic tractor beam to put their wreckage into the pond's stowage bay. From it, 2 shipboard modules can be harvested. Next, Wang Dong can let go of his hands and feet and let the pawns pour out firepower wantonly. The first is to clean all the buildings and fixed equipment in the mining base, the main gun and the secondary gun. Secondly, there are mining vehicles scattered all over the mining star. With the guidance of the sky survey radar, Wang Dong drove the pond and eliminated them one by one. This eliminates the need to use the main gun, the 4 secondary guns on the pond, and 1 gun. Without Michaelis-Menten particles, the shipboard optical brain can fully function, with automatic fire control and aiming, and bullets fired without missing a beat. A few hours later, all the civilization's creations on the entire mining planet were swept away by the pond. Wang Dongkai, still not satisfied, drove the pond into the sky and left the mining star with only a wreckage left. Obtain 89 source points. Mainly because the acquisition rate of pond's source point 900 is only 25%. Otherwise this number is multiplied by 4 to become 356. If it is this number, it is a pretty good harvest for ordinary fire warships. It's a pity that the pond is a 3rd-generation ship, and the original source point income of more than 300 points has been reduced to less than 100 points. Wang Dong shook his head slightly. The value of the pond is actually mainly due to the several additional modules it is equipped with. The second is to provide a platform for Wang Dong to earn the first pot of gold. Relying on hard work to obtain source points in a different space to upgrade and strengthen the pond account was Wang Dong's helpless choice before his rebirth, rather than following the old path after rebirth. Therefore, Wang Dong did not take it to heart about the 89 source points obtained in this different space battlefield. However, Wang Dong was more interested in the 2 ship-based modules he had received. Furthermore, the Explorer Sky Survey Radar achieved success in its first battle, and Wang Dong was quite satisfied. It is indeed a purple quality ship-based module with extraordinary performance. After clearing the mineral star, Wang Dong didn't wait long. Driving the pond, he continued to wander in the nearby airspace. I just wanted to see if there would be any additional gains, such as reinforcements, or other bases nearby. During this period, Wang Dong spent some time to completely disassemble the Geistlich laser mining gun and the Geistlich mineral detector and put them away. Then throw the wreckage out of the cabin. Space junk and the like are not our own home, so we don't need to think about them. However, Wang Dong did not wait for these good things until the end of the 24-hour time limit. Return to this universe. Wang Dong is preparing to drive the mining spacecraft to leave the pond and collect some minerals back. Suddenly, the shipboard optical brain prompted that the sky survey radar had discovered something. Compared with what was previously carried by the pond, the performance of the Explorer survey radar has been greatly improved. The direct reaction is the king of the mining area in the asteroid belt. The survey radar originally carried by the pond was not accurate enough, and it was basically unable to clearly distinguish those celestial bodies in the asteroid belt from other mining spacecraft and other objects. Unless the distance is close to a certain level, the shipboard optical brain will issue a prompt. After replacing it with the purple quality Explorer Sky Survey radar, the accuracy is directly doubled, and the difference is obvious. Within a considerable distance, the Explorer Sky Survey radar can relatively clearly distinguish the difference between natural celestial bodies such as ordinary asteroids and meteorites, and unnatural creations of civilization such as mining spacecraft. Wang Dong called up the detection results of the Sky Survey radar and discovered that a spacecraft was trying to land on the surface of an asteroid with a diameter of up to 1 meter, some distance away. Turning on the virtual imaging mode and using the improved performance of the survey radar, Wang Dong was able to intuitively see the entire emergency landing process. 20 meters long, the silver-white ship has a streamlined and narrow hull. Wang Dong could tell at a glance that this was not a mining spacecraft. More like a private airship. It is something that only rich people can afford, and they love useful things like sports cars. This kind of private airship also has the capability of near-air navigation and can leave the planet in a short time and sail in nearby airspace. On the mining planet, there are also many rich people who own such airships. But this kind of airship will basically not leave the planet too far, and it is not suitable for navigation in complex airspace conditions. Airspace like the asteroid mining area is definitely not suitable for private airships. There is probably something wrong with the origin of this airship. In particular, looking at the flying attitude and the broken wing, this airship was clearly badly damaged. Even though the pilot tried his best to control it, the airship still failed to grasp the balance of the landing and first touched the surface of the asteroid with its side. After drawing a long trace, he finally stopped. Wang Dong thought for a moment and decided to keep the pond away from this area. Mind your own business, that's the way to stay healthy. He doesn't intend to cause trouble. But the next moment, I saw the slightly fat figure wearing a portable spacesuit popping out of the deformed cockpit. Wang Dong shook his head and smiled bitterly. This bowl is so fragrant, one drank it. It's an acquaintance. Qin Wanli is a fat, white man who always smiles, although he has always claimed that he is a little plump and prone to swelling. He is an alumnus of Wang Dong. Although they are not in the same class, they are in the same year group. When receiving primary education, Wang Dong had several interactions with Qin Wanli. Qin Wanli is the son of the president of the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce, but he is not the eldest son. He has a good personality and helped Wang Dong solve some problems. The favor was returned to Wang Dong, but the friendship was also forged. Seeing others in trouble, Wang Dong didn't help, which made him feel uncomfortable. Without hesitation, Wang Dong quickly boarded the mining spacecraft, left the pond, and flew straight to the asteroid where Qin Wanli made an emergency landing. Although the portable spacesuit can support 24-hour life support functions, it is not suitable for use in airspace such as the asteroid belt mining area. Several small meteorites may fly at any time and anywhere. Just because the spacecraft can handle it, doesn't mean the spacesuit can handle it. 10 minutes later, Wang Dong approached the asteroid. He skillfully controlled the mining spacecraft and landed lightly at the crash site of Qin Wanli's airship. Open the lower cargo compartment. Qin Wanli hesitated for a while before boarding Wang Dong's mining spacecraft. Wang Dong, it's you. Qin Wanli was surprised after meeting Wang Dong. Nonsense, otherwise who do you think it is? Wang Dong rolled his eyes. I didn't mean it that way, it was really unexpected. Inside the spacecraft, Qin Wanli put away the helmet of his portable spacesuit. His expression was full of exhaustion, and his originally round and fair face had shrunk in size. Wang Dong patted his shoulder with understanding and said, "The mining area is so big, I'm surprised to meet you." "What, are you in trouble?" Qin Wanli rubbed his face, forced a smile, and said, "I'm afraid I'm going to hurt you this time. I was hunted down so much that I had to flee into the mining area." Wang Dong gave a thumbs up. "Driving a private airship to the mining area, your driving skills are second to none, this is it." "Haha, you are still so humorous." Qin Wanli laughed and cried, and Ben's anxiety was slightly suppressed. "Don't worry, it's just a dream to play chase in the mining area," Wang Dong said with relief. "In a place like the mining area, even the survey radar on the fire warship will be severely interfered, let alone an ordinary warship. A person like Qin Wanli is not an important figure in the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce. Even if he is being hunted, what level of pursuer can he be? It can't be a fire battleship. Backquote, they are from the Tianyu caravan. They didn't dare to chase into the mining area, but if it weren't for you, I would be in trouble now." Quote. Qin Wanli smiled bitterly. The situation of the Kong Shark Chamber of Commerce is so bad that it can't even guarantee the personal safety of you senior executives. Wang Dong said doubtfully. He remembered that yesterday at the mining company, Zhou Laosan also said that Lao Qin would transfer the company in the near future, not immediately. This shows that the situation between the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce and the Tianyu caravan is not so serious that there is no buffer at all. How come in a blink of an eye, even the other party's top brass started to hunt him down? This is somewhat inconsistent with the objective laws of the development of things. Actually, it's because I'm completing a secret deal. Qin Wanli hesitated for a moment, but decided to speak frankly. Then don't say, "That's good, I'm afraid I'll be silenced if I know too much." Wang Dong quickly waved his hand to signal Qin Wanli not to continue. This excessive caution made Qin Wanli laugh. "You were always so cautious as before. It doesn't matter. Although you are being hunted, the transaction has been completed and there is no need to keep it secret too much." Wang Dong then asked in confusion, "How can a playboy like you, who is incompetent in literature and martial arts, still have any important responsibilities?" Qin Wanli's smile froze, and he said angrily, "I'll admit it if you can't become a martial artist, but what do you mean by a dandy? You don't want to taint someone's innocence for no reason." Wang Dong chuckled when he heard this and said nothing more. Everything was in the sound of, hee. Qin Wanli's tone weakened. Okay, I usually like to play a little bit, but that's not because there are elder brothers and sisters above me. I can't do any of the things at home. In this case, it is better to be a bit of a dandy. I will be happy and my eldest brother and sister will be at ease. This is good for everyone. Quote. Wang Dong was too lazy to pay attention to him. If you are indolent, you are indolent. Your eldest brother and sister are both nice people. Even if they are jealous of each other. How can they care about a little fat guy like you? Qin Wanli smiled guiltily and changed the subject. I mainly completed a secret transaction this time. I was chosen because the eldest brother and eldest sister are all being watched, and I have received the least attention. In addition, although the goods traded are valuable, they are not many and can be carried by private airships. The transaction process went relatively smoothly. Unexpectedly, when I was returning from the end, I met the Chen Shu from the Tianyu caravan, causing me to almost die in the mining area. Chen Shu's status was similar to that of Qin Wanli. He was the son of the boss of Tianyu caravan and a standard playboy. There had been several conflicts with Qin Wanli before. It turns out it's that guy, no wonder he bites you like a dog. Wang Dong patted Qin Wanli's fleshy shoulder and said, "Don't worry, you stay on the boat for 2 days, and then I will send you back after the wind has passed. But the conditions on the boat are definitely not as good as your private airship, so you have to overcome it." "Don't worry, I understand." Qin Wanli laughed and said, "I am extremely grateful to have saved my life. How can I dare to be pretentious? I won't say more. Thank you." "You're welcome, that's right." Wang Dong smiled slightly. "It is obviously inappropriate to return now. Although the Tianyu caravan temporarily gave up the pursuit because Qin Wanli took the risk to hide in the mining area. But I will definitely stay and observe outside the mining area for a while. They would only retreat after waiting a day or two, or waiting for reinforcements from the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce, or waiting until the Tianyu caravan ran out of patience and thought Qin Wanli had died in the mining area. No matter what the situation is, Wang Dong chooses to remain unchanged in the face of ever-changing circumstances, and let's focus on his own job of mining. Regarding Wang Dong's determination, Qin Wanli didn't say much. He seemed to obey Wang Dong and patiently accompanied Wang Dong on the mining spacecraft for 2 days of mining work. Not to mention, with someone chatting next to me to relieve my boredom, the boring mining work suddenly seemed alive. 2 days later, after 80% of the cargo hold was filled with the collected ore, Wang Dong stretched out and said, "It's almost done, let's go." Qin Wanli nodded and clenched his fists slightly. "Don't worry, with that boy Chen Shu's patience, 2 days is definitely enough." Wang Dong saw his nervousness and comforted him with a smile. The 2 people's spacecraft left the mining area and returned directly to the mining area planet. Sure enough, the journey went smoothly, and no warships from the Tianyu caravan were seen. But Qin Wanli was still a little nervous along the way. It wasn't until he saw the patrol fleet that he was completely relieved. "Wang Dong, your judgment is accurate. That boy Chen Shu must have thought that I had died in the mining area, so he gave up and continued to wait." Wang Dong smiled. "What is an accurate judgment? There is no need to judge at all." On the pond, the shotgun for cannon survey radar was able to easily monitor the whereabouts of the small broken boats of the Tianyu caravan without being noticed. Therefore, Wang Dong already knew that after waiting for a day, the Tianyu caravan had already withdrawn. He also stayed in the mining area for 1 more day just to be on the safe side, and of course the trip went smoothly. After approaching the mining planet, Qin Wanli contacted his family smoothly. Soon after, a spaceship from the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce arrived, picked up directly on the track, and escorted Qin Wanli away. When they parted, neither Wang Dong nor Qin Wanli said much. The little fat man just shook Wang Dong's hand firmly. Afterwards, Wang Dong controlled the spacecraft to land on the mining company's tarmac. Ignoring Zhou Laosan's request to collect all the minerals, Wang Dong followed the normal process and completed the settlement. Zhou Laosan's eyes were a little angry, but Wang Dong was not afraid and looked back at him calmly. After just 10 seconds, Zhou Laosan couldn't match Wang Dong's stern gaze and turned his head away with a guilty conscience. Not to mention the iron-blooded killings in different spaces, Wang Dong is also a veteran who has experienced many life and death battles AEFD in this universe. A little person like Zhou Laosan who only dares to take advantage of the company during the chaos, how can he not be crushed in terms of momentum? Wang Dong simply ignored him and left the mining company. 2 days later, Wang Dong received the news. Lao Qin's mining company was transferred to Tianyu Caravan at a very low price. Also packaged and transferred along with it was Lao Qin's contracting rights to the asteroid belt mining area. For this, I have already prepared myself mentally. Although there was no such scene before rebirth. But rebirth is not about repeating the past life. Changes are normal and good. Wang Dong himself views this matter with a Buddhist attitude. Even though news soon came that the Tianyu caravan had made a series of adjustments to the relevant systems of the mining company. The purchase prices for various minerals have been reduced by at least 1 percentage point. At the same time, the handling fees for various services provided by mining companies, including spaceship rental fees, have been increased by at least 10 percentage points. Moreover, on this basis, a performance appraisal mechanism was also launched. Each month, the group of miners who have completed the least mining performance will be charged a higher fee in the next month. The miners were in an uproar. But it didn't work. After taking over Lao Qin's mining company and integrating it into its own system. On the entire mining planet, Tianyu Caravan formed a dominant position in the field of mining. It turned out that in addition to Lao Qin's mining company, there were also some small mining companies on the mining planet. The Kongsha Chamber of Commerce has always been in good shape, and the same goes for Lao Qin's mining company, which has no intention of exterminating these small-scale counterparts. But the style of Tianyu Caravan is completely different. While the Tianyu Caravan is annexing the mining companies of the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce, the Tianyu Caravan is still putting pressure on those small mining companies to make acquisitions. It is only a matter of time before the integration of the entire market is completed. Those small mining companies will not last long. Soon, except for the mining company of the Tianyu Caravan, the miners were unable to find any other company that could purchase the ore they collected on a large scale and smelt it. This creates a certain degree of monopoly. The interstellar miners are obviously in a weak position. In this regard, the interstellar miners did not sit back and wait, but took active actions to connect with each other to form a whole and negotiate with the Tianyu Caravan. Now is the interstellar era, where productivity is highly developed. Starvation to death rarely happens anymore. The worst thing is to quit and change careers. The income level will be almost the same and the quality of life will drop a bit. The miners were emboldened. In just a few days, most of the interstellar miners on the mining planet were organized and prepared to elect representatives to negotiate with the Tianyu Caravan. Wang Dong has no intention of getting involved. On the one hand, he has no need for related interests. How much money can be earned from mining is not enough for Pon's daily consumption. His newly acquired Explorer Sky Survey radar relies on its spiritual detection function to randomly obtain a high-quality ship-based module in a different space battlefield. The price of the sale is equivalent to a year's hard work of an interstellar miner. The gains don't stop there. On the other hand, Wang Dong is not optimistic about the outcome of the negotiations with Tianyu Caravan. It can only be seen that the Tianyu Caravan couldn't wait to make some system adjustments as soon as it took over Lao Chin's mining company. It can fully reflect the greed and confidence of Tianyu Caravan. Coupled with the recent encroachment of the Sky Shark Chamber of Commerce, the Sky Tiger Caravan has become even more arrogant. The interstellar miners chose this time to negotiate with the Tianyu Caravan, and Wang Dong didn't think they could get any benefits. Therefore, Wang Dong declined the proposal from some people familiar with the miners who wanted to recommend Wang Dong as one of the representatives. Of course, Wang Dong would not do anything like pouring cold water on him. The miners were also in a state of excitement. At this time, Wang Dong went up to pour cold water on them and told them to be patient for now, fearing that they would be beaten to the side of the Tianyu Caravan immediately. Every minute I was caught in the middle, suffering from both ends. Wang Dong is stupid to do such a thing. Anyway, the shipboard fire on the pond is still in the buffer period and will have to wait until next month to enter another space again. Wang Dong was not in a hurry at all. He often invited Chen Linfang, Zheng Yan and others to go out for small gatherings. Keep in touch with each other and have fun. Isn't it more comfortable to have a beautiful girl with you than to have a series with a tough guy? On August 10th, the miners who completed the series connection and elected representatives began to negotiate with the Tianyu Caravan. It didn't go well. The Tianyu Caravan didn't even take these miners seriously. It was just that a new middle-level manager from the mining company came out and dismissed them directly. The company has no intention of forcing miners to serve the company, but only requires that when serving the company, they must abide by the company's rules and regulations. Under the premise of forming a de facto monopoly, this statement that seems reasonable at first glance is actually a rogue move. Of course the miners were not happy and immediately went on strike. The Tianyu Caravan took no time and issued a claim letter. It was a letter demanding compensation for the various damages caused to the mining spacecraft by the miners when they rented the company's mining spacecraft. The miners were in an uproar. Miners lease mining spaceships from mining companies and pay rental fees. As for the various maintenance and repair work of the mining spacecraft, the company will be responsible for it. The company will purchase its own insurance for each mining spacecraft. In the event of various situations, such as the spacecraft crashing or being seriously damaged, the insurance company will compensate. This approach has become a common rule on the mining planet and has been so for hundreds of years. The mining process of interstellar miners is not just a play, and the mining spacecraft will inevitably suffer some damage. Especially in the asteroid belt mining areas, the astronomical conditions are complex, and damage to the mining spacecraft is common. Otherwise, Wang Dong would not need to rely on the auxiliary system's detection function of the ship's condition to deliberately select a mining ship with a better ship condition. The damage to the mining spacecraft is actually equivalent to the wear and tear of mining tools, which falls within the normal range of wear and tear. Moreover, the figures on the claim letter issued by the Tianyu caravan this time are the accumulated maintenance costs of the mining spacecraft after repeated mining by the miners. Compared to ordinary miners, this is simply an astronomical figure. This kind of claim letter will naturally not receive official support. The miners who dare to venture into space alone are not cowards, and of course they will not admit this so-called claim letter. But one of the main businesses of Tianyu caravan is debt collection. How can ordinary civilians have the ability to fight against these professional debt collectors? Various violent and non-violent methods were used, but within just a few days, the miners were wailing. Wang Dong was also involved. On the afternoon of August 14th, looking at the claim letter with an amount of more than 3 million yuan in front of him, Wang Dong almost laughed angrily. Several years of working as a miner allowed him to accumulate a considerable amount of savings. But this claim letter was enough to reduce his savings to 1/10 of its original value. It should be said that the financial personnel of Tianyu caravan are very competent. Based on the accounts left by the mining company, they accurately calculated Wang Dong's income over the years, measured the maximum amount that Wang Dong could bear, and then decided on the claim letter. The size of the amount. Wang Dong estimated that this was because the Tianyu caravan didn't know and he saved Qin Wanli. If the Tianyu caravan found out that Qin Wanli came out of Wang Dong from the mining area, I am afraid that the number on this claim letter would be doubled dozens of times. At the same time as the claim letter, there was also a letter of appointment. Mr. Wang Dong, our company sincerely recruits you as the chief navigator. Please report to the company's Human Resources Department on time on August 15th. The signature is Tianyu Mining Development Company, Limited. The person who delivered these two documents was Chen Pai, the new HR director of the mining company. Quite polite on the surface. 0. It is said that as long as Wang Dong accepts the appointment of chief navigator, all the figures on the claim letter can be reduced. Moreover, this so-called chief navigator is not a long-term job. He only needs to cooperate with the company to complete an exploration. There was no need for Wang Dong to resort to insinuations or other tactics. The HR director Chen Wei was very cooperative and revealed some specific requirements during the conversation. It turns out that the Tianyu caravan hopes to organize an exploration in the depths of the asteroid belt mining area in the near future to understand the specific conditions of the mining area and the scale and potential of the mineral deposits. As an outstanding member of the interstellar miners on the mining planet, Wang Dong was included in this plan. Before leaving, the HR director, Chen Weikai, left a message without comment. The above are all company business secrets. Please do not leak them to Mr. Wang Dong and report to work on time. Regardless of whether Wang Dong agrees or not, he looks like he is sure of you. Moreover, several tough men were left outside Wang Dong's residence. A cold light flashed in Wang Dong's eyes. The danger of this work is self-evident. Deep in the mining area, even warships must be careful when moving inside, let alone mining spacecraft. Tianyu caravan gave no room for rejection at all. Moreover, there was no mention of remuneration. Just relying on the arrears mentioned in the claim exemption letter is simply nonsense. When I touched my personal smart terminal, as expected, there was no signal. Apparently the few remaining personnel outside were also equipped with 6 small jammers. Originally, this abnormality would have attracted the attention of the sheriff in charge of this area. The Tianyu caravan obviously didn't know what method to use to convince the sheriff to turn a blind eye to the abnormal situation of Wang Dong's family. Wang Dong couldn't help but sneered in his heart. No matter how good-looking he was, he couldn't change the villainous behavior of the Tianyu caravan. Wang Dong is not completely powerless to fight back. Ding Ling is the daughter of the chief security officer of the mining planet. This relationship is enough to suppress the Tianyu caravan and treat this claim letter as toilet paper. However, the Tianyu caravan was impeccable in its work, leaving behind guards, and coupled with communication interference, Wang Dong was unable to find someone for help even if he wanted to. Wang Dong doesn't want to have a battle royale with these guys. With his current fighting power, the chances of winning against the several tough men outside the door are really not high. Unless the pond is summoned to rescue him, it will be difficult for Wang Dong to escape. But Wang Luliuqi was not worried. Since the place he was going to was a mining area, he had nothing to be afraid of. With Pan's presence, Wang Dong believes that no matter what the Tianyu caravan arranges, he will have a chance to escape. More importantly, the villainous behavior of the Tianyu caravan made Wang Dong feel angry. Wang Dong would be hard-pressed to prevent the Tianyu caravan from suffering a serious loss. In addition, Wang Dong sensed something unusual about the intentions of the Tianyu caravan. The so-called understand the specific conditions of the mining area and the scale and potential of the mineral deposits. Wang Dong said he didn't believe a word of it. Tianyu caravan is not a group that focuses on industry at all. Hoarding, plundering, and getting something for nothing are their favorite businesses. The unusual behavior of the Tianyu caravan reminded Wang Dong of several anecdotes that Qin Wanli had told him while chatting with him on the mining spaceship a few days ago. Qin Wanli said that in the early years of the Kongsha Chamber of Commerce, it hired professional organizations at a high price to conduct an exploration of the asteroid belt mining area. The conclusion is that based on the obtained big data analysis of mineral veins, there is a certain probability that there are small amounts of rare minerals deep in the asteroid belt. This, rare mineral, does not refer to minerals such as UT titanium, which can be sold at high prices on the market, but are not actually rare. It is the kind of truly precious minerals that are monopolized by the privileged class and cannot be circulated normally in the market. This incident was so alarming that the Baron personally asked about it. However, since this has not been confirmed in mining harvests, experts have made it clear that it is only a small probability event. So over time, this conclusion eventually became an anecdote, and then not even an anecdote at all. I have never heard of Wang Dong. But the abnormal behavior of the Tianyu caravan reminded him of the anecdote Qin Wanli said for the first time. Could it be that the Tianyu caravan had also heard this conclusion and was so concerned about it that they prepared to organize such an exploration operation? The next day, just before dawn, Wang Dong was woken up by a rude knock on the door. Several members of the Tianyu caravan's action team, commonly known as thugs, supervised Wang Dong. After completing the washing work in a short period of time, they took him to the Tianyu Mining Development Company, Limited in a car. Here, Wang Dong saw many acquaintances. Basically, they are all miners who have better skills or more experience. Some disgraced old historians are also among them. Wang Dong merged into the crowd smoothly. After a few whispered exchanges, Wang Dong understood that these people, like him, were forced to participate in so-called exploration operations. After waiting for a while, several people were brought to the tarmac. Wow, good guy, several sighs sounded out in unison. Even Wang Dong couldn't help but stare at the big guy on the tarmac with wide eyes. Constantine III exploration ship. Did I read that correctly? Nonsense, the unique design of the trident hull, and the color of the armor. Yes, matte silver external armor plate. The liquid silver armor is said to be as strong as special military armor. Even if it is hit by a meteorite, it can completely absorb its dynamic impact without damage. Wang Dong really didn't expect that Tianyu caravan could get such good things. Although looking at the hull of more than 300 meters, this Constantine III exploration ship is a small model. But its high price is even more than the price of a semi-assault ship. Whether it was bought or leased, Tianyu caravan undoubtedly spent a lot of money this time. At the same time, this also convinced Wang Dong that the exploration operation of the Tianyu caravan must have been planned for a long time. Otherwise, they would definitely not have taken out such a Constantine III exploration ship in such a short period of time, which is basically used in the field of deep space exploration. Being able to board the Constantine III exploration ship, I feel that my life has been instantly elevated. An old miner sighed, sparking a chorus of agreement. You don't even know what you are doing, you want to eat shit. That's your spaceship over there. The burly man beside him sneered. The old miner and others couldn't help but turn their eyes to the other side of the apron angrily. Sure enough, it was the mining spacecraft they usually used on a daily basis. Your position is that of a navigator, and your task is of course to lead the way. HR Director Chen Pai was also present, and he said with a smile. The miners protested. Just give us these things. That's right, there aren't even many armor plates, how many times can it withstand it? Where can the spacecraft usually used for mining go to the depths of the mining area? Several older miners even sat down on the ground and cried. we clearly agreed that we need a special spaceship, otherwise wouldn't we just die with our old bones? What are you shouting about? What are you shouting about? Personnel Director Chen Wei turned around and signaled that more than a dozen big men in black gathered around and pulled the old miner up, while also preventing the miners from protesting. These mining spaceships have been modified. Most of the space in the cargo bay is used to load a one-time small energy shield. This energy shield can last for 24 hours and withstand powerful blows, enough to protect you to complete this exploration mission. 1.9. Disposable, small, energy shield. Is it the kind carried on real battleships? Quote. Then withstanding the impact of the meteorite shouldn't be a problem, right? The miners were frightened by this equipment that sounded quite high-end. In the whispers, their previous doubts disappeared. Personnel Director Chen Wei is obviously very satisfied with this. Wang Dong barely maintained a calm expression on his face, but his anger was burning to the point of overflowing. There is no such thing as a disposable small energy shield. There is only the sub-decay gravitational field shield, a disposable shield specially used on unmanned detectors. The reason why it is specifically used on unmanned detectors is that the sub-decay gravitational field is a field that is always in a state of decay. All living beings in this field will be harmed by massive amounts of radiation. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.